here, there's no excuse for them not being here. So, back to Cabinet. Parliament is not a branch of the Presidency or below the Presidency or a branch of Cabinet. It's an independent arm of the state, and we've got a constitutional duty to hold the executive to account. And I want to tell you today, and I mentioned things, it's funny, I mentioned it in this room last time, when it came to, I'm scared of saying Philip because last time I was there, things didn't go too well for me and Honorable Schikkeling. But Philippi is one of the examples that was mentioned in this very room. And up to this day, it's not solved, but we were accused of not doing our jobs. The National Commissioner said we should read between the lines until eventually the members in the ad hoc committee pushed him last week to concede that there's nothing that this committee could have done with the limited information shared with us on the 5th of March. So we can't perform oversight in the absence of the relevant people. And with that, I agree with the Honourable Skosana, we don't disregard those that are here. But with the current crisis, it's important that we have all hands on deck. Just in terms of the crisis, all of you would have read through the Auditor-General report confirming significant patterns of, let's call them challenges, with regards to something like procurement, and I'll touch on what that is just now. Now, a lot of these issues have built up. We discussed a lot of these things last year during exactly the same meeting, but I still haven't seen significant change. Now, what we've picked up, whether it's in the Madlanga Commission or in the ad hoc committee, it's always someone else's fault. It never stops with the accounting officer or with an accounting officer. It's always someone else's fault. Up until now, there is no one from across the board, from any faction, that has said that I own up for the mistake that I made there. That hasn't happened. So, just in terms of the findings, and this is why it's so important for the accounting officers to be here. Let me read a few to you. 2.5 billion rand in irregular expenditure not dealt with, according to AG findings. 95% of the entire police portfolio's irregular spending sits unresolved in SAPS. It's a bit of an unfair statement because SAPS has a significantly bigger budget than all the rest. But the long and the short is that irregular expenditure increased by 140% in 1 year, from 270 million rand to 650 million rand, largely because of ongoing violations of procurement matters and failed corrective measures. And I'll get to Tembisa just now. 466 million rand in uncompetitive and unfair tenders. Contracts awarded to suppliers who failed basic criteria while compliant bidders were disqualified. And I'm going to pause there, because with something like Tembisa and Mr. Kat Matlala, several members of this committee, including myself, asked questions about Kat Matlala. We asked questions, but it takes months to get an accurate answer. From those coordinating the answers, I can just imagine the frustration, because you get sent from post to pillar or pillar to post just to get an accurate answer. The head of internal audit post has been vacant for more than 2 years, meaning SAPS has operated without that post for that specific time. The next one, potentially manipulated and duplicated crime data. The AG found duplicated and missing entries across multiple crime categories, undermining the credibility of national crime statistics. When did we ask about the GBV data, Honourable Schikkeling? 3 months ago. Honourable Matthijs asked. Honourable James isn't here. We asked about the leaving out of data of violence against women and children. Still not resolved. Let's move to forensic laboratories. DNA backlogs, from what we could see in the reports, have grown by 60%. Maintenance contracts for core instrumentals have expired and only half the required DNA testing lanes are functional. Last week I received a call from members in the Western Cape, LCRC. They don't have DNA swab kits. Everyone has expired. They don't have new ones. Now, we ask those questions, but it takes months on end to resolve, if at all. Unlawful detentions. SAPS continues to pay millions in civil claims for people detained longer than 48 hours without court appearances in direct violation of Criminal Procedure Act. 153 million rand network contract paid upfront with no services delivered. This was a material irregularity and has been under investigation for years, but there has been no recovery of funds. Failure of command and control. Detective commanders failed to verify arrest. Case diaries remained blank, and 30% of reported performance achievements are unreliable or false. This leads me to the discussion regarding the political killing task team. Let's touch on that, what's happened during the ad hoc committee and the commission. If these things were done, and this is again, regardless of one or the other party or faction or enemy or friend of someone says, if just that was done, if the relevant checks and balances were in place to ensure that those diaries were filled, we likely wouldn't have heard this week that there are dockets that haven't been touched since 2022, sorry. Colleagues, I know I sound like I'm ranting. Last night I explained this whole ordeal like an episode of Days of Our Lives, but it is starting to feel like that. The Medicare contract, and I'm gonna close with this, and then we'll consider what's on the agenda. The Auditor-General also confirmed that due diligence processes were either non-existent or ignored in the Medicare 24 contract with regards to Vusi Kat Matlala. Now let me ask you something, and I asked this to General Sabia last night. All of the members sitting here that are in the ad hoc committee also asked him the same question. But it's very unfair to zoom in on General Sabia when there are many more other people that certainly know about this. I said last night we should have a General Fani commission to ask what is going on in procurement. How is it possible that Kat Matlala slipped through the radar with a 25-year-old criminal record? Cases withdrawn for cash-in-transit heists, being arrested for possession of unlicensed firearms and ammunition, armed robbery, housebreaking, theft from a motor vehicle. There's a whole list of matters. I think his first one was a housebreaking in Valwater or something. So, I mean, he's promoted himself over the years. It can't be. It can't be that someone like that gets a 360 million rand contract in SAPS without someone knowing and someone assisting. And people can be angry for me for making the assumption, but you can't blame me for making that or insinuating that. I'm telling you today that if the Minister and the National Commissioner, along with the whole team, don't sit here and account, and that we work and fix these things, there's a potential collapse of SAPS. And I don't say that lightly. People keep on any of the politicians in here to say things like mafia state. They keep asking those questions. Are we a mafia state? Has the police collapsed? Is the criminal justice system still functioning? I'm telling you, if we don't resolve this, all of that will be true. In terms of oversight, I want to make it very, very clear and put it on record here today, and this committee agrees with me. We are not a rubber stamp of budgets. We are not going to stamp things, and I'm going to give a pre-warning to SIRA as well. We are not here to rubber stamp budgets and reviews for the sake of things just continuing as they are. There's a saying where people say, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So something's got to change, because at the moment it's not happening. That's why we're in this mess. And I want to warn already now to SIRA. This committee recommended that Mr. Chauke, the CEO of SIRA, the CFO of SIRA, be suspended. Now suddenly, with big fanfare, 8 or 9 junior members in SIRA are suspended, of which most of them are the wrong people. This was reported to all of us, and it gives the impression like action is being taken. But the UIF money that was stolen by people in high offices in SIRA has still not been recovered, and many of the people implicated are still in that very office. That suspension hasn't happened. So I'm telling you today that this committee will not review any form of budget of the Private Security Regulatory Authority if the relevant steps and action aren't taken, and if we can't see how much of the money that was taken regarding that UIF scandal was actually recovered. All of them have asked several times, has the money been recovered? Every time the answer is no, not a cent. I'm going to conclude. We will reconvene the questioning of BRRR matter when both the Minister and the National Commissioner are present. I will explain how we will go forward today. 2.5 billion rands worth of irregular expenditure that needs to be addressed. The integrity of crime data will be discussed, the state of forensic laboratories, the remedial actions on material irregularities and fraudulent contracts. We will also request progress reports from the Auditor-General and the SIU regarding ongoing investigations with regards to the Medicare 24 matter. In closing, it's important that we realize that South African Police Service is the backbone of national security. There is no other institution, the size and the actual power that the South African Police Service has. But at the moment, we're not presenting that to South Africans. I mean, imagine this, we're reviewing the budget today. Parliament is meant to be the highest accounting authority in the country. There are material irregularities, material findings, serious procurement issues, and the relevant accounting officers aren't here. If we don't take this seriously, how are we going to take the South African suffering in, I don't know, Alexandra, Thohoyandou, or Kimberley? Maybe I shouldn't use Kimberley, Honourable Schikkerling. So it's not a courtesy to Parliament to get answers from SAPS. It's our job. And this committee, all of these members, including myself, will not be accused again of not doing our jobs. Honourable Ghana, General van Rooyen will be invited to come and explain to us how we did not do our job. And we will scrutinize that as well. We will work through that. But we're not going to be the scapegoat for other people not communicating properly. What I want to ask to the honourable members is, well, firstly, before I do that, I want to apologize to the members of the AG, because I don't know how you guys do it, but you're always very enthusiastic and positive. You're like a ball of energy. It is very inspiring to always meet with you. And I want to apologize for the way that we've started today. But please don't question Parliament in that regard. Parliament is not the scapegoat. Yeah. I want to ask the honourable members whether we can also, are you comfortable with hearing the unions today? Are you comfortable with the AG and then the others? I can't make that decision. So I'm going to give an opportunity to the members that want to say how they go, and depending on what the majority of the members say, we move. There are two options in my opinion. I'm going to come to the members now. The one is we allow the AG to present. We allow the unions to present. We can ask questions of clarity, but there will be no real debate because the relevant accounting officers aren't here. So that's the one. And if that is the case, we invite everyone back again, and then we can have the further deliberations. The other option is adjourn, get everyone back at the same time. Honourable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. And I think it's very, very important for us to take into cognizance the remarks which we have made already. and perhaps to apologize to those members who are here as well. And I guess that the commitment from men and women who are in blue is highly recognized. You know, we can't paint everyone with one brush. It's not like there's, as you said, we are not ranking on the police who are here, who are from the top management as well. But it's unfortunate that we as politicians as well, when I'm saying we, I'm including those members, especially our acting minister who's not here. And indeed, he will speak for himself when he appears before us, that we are, you know, we are not here to tick the box. You know, it's not optics. We are here to do our job, and South Africans are looking at us with all the failures and the blame game which we were fingered, that we have dropped the ball, and some of us, the issue of the 5th of March is still lingering over our heads. And I thank you, Chair, to say that this will never happen again, because we are regarded as useless. You know, that we can't do our job, you know, regardless of the so-called social media, talking about real issues, you know, that affects our people. But I guess, Chair, we can deal with what you've already said, the Auditor-General. I'm not sure about the union and the civilian secretariat, we can deal with that. But our 1,000 apology, you know, it's not like we want to embarrass anyone by saying we are not going to entertain the issue of the police today. And I think we have to stick to our guns on that, that until the minister appears before us for the first time, you know, for the first time. He never appeared before us, you know, maybe the minister will come back before he appears before us. I'm not saying acting. Maybe the real minister will come back. I'm not sure. But I'm saying he has to be here. And our 1,000 apology for those one who are here. This fruitless expenditure is one of those things. It happens, but it's not a good thing, because South Africans are looking at us to say, yo, all the way from Gauteng, from the head office to Cape Town for nothing. On that one is unfortunate. We have to stick to our guns. We'll have to entertain. I'm not sure whether we can ask for an adjournment at a later, after we all spoken, Chair. But indeed, we will have to have the civilian secretary, and besides what happened, you know, there's members who are suspended when there was supposed some consequence management, which is not done, but thanks the Auditor-General is here. But on this budget, this PRRR, unfortunately, we have to deal with it when the minister and the NASCOM is here. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Skosana, just for clarity, so what is your suggestion in one sentence?
In one sentence, I'm saying we can adjourn, Chair, after, if we agree, all of us as members.
Okay.
Chair, for some reason it keeps going through my head that we might at some stage have to start subpoenaing people to come to this committee. How can people who should be here treat this committee with such contempt and Parliament with such contempt? I mean, is that the level we're going to have to get to, where we actually have to subpoena people to come here rather than go to other meetings elsewhere? I'm very saddened by this. I don't think we can proceed at all. I think everybody must just leave, and we'll have to try and reconvene. And this time we need guarantees that the right people are going to be here. And I appreciate so much that everybody else has arrived, but you've been let down by your top management completely. And I don't see how we can move forward. You can't do bits and pieces and bits and pieces. Cannot be. We need to just send everybody home and start again. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kola Barnard. I recognize the Honorable Garner.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Those that we have a serious issue with is the Minister and the Commissioner. Those are the people who have a serious issue with. So the way I see, also in the way that you had planned the agenda, what the Auditor General's report does, it gives us ammunition when we engage with the police. Equally, what the unions are going to tell us gives us ammunition to engage with the police. So that we don't, you see, I don't want us to then, because Parliament will not reimburse the AG and the unions. They are here. They are here to shed light in terms of their observation of the police. I then say that no, let them give us the ammunition. It will have adequate time to then digest that ammunition so that when the police leadership comes here, we have adequate ammunition. That's how I see the AG and the unions, because they are not executing the budget. They are assisting us in raising this issue. So my submission is that the AG, and now that we won't have the police, we can go line by line with the AG. Ask as much as we can so that by the time the police come, we have as much ammunition as we need. Because sometimes when everything is lumped together, then you don't have adequate time to deal with the issues, and then others go on TV and say we don't do our job. So we want to show them that we'll do our job. So the AG, the unions, they will present, and the next time when they come, we'll do our job with the police, so that they won't go on TV and claim that we don't do our job. So that would be my proposal, and I've Honorable Skosana agrees, so I represent him in my presentation. So he's amending his earlier submission that we adjourn.
Are you starting your own GNU now with MK? I'm just joking.
But he agrees. We together with the Rev here, we're able to convince him that the AG and the unions can present. Thanks.
I've noted the Honourable Klutter, then Schikkeling, then the Honourable Matthijs. Honourable Klutter.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, mine is just to check regarding the AG's report and civilian secretariat and the unions. Is all the relevant people that's supposed to answer, is it here? If not, then I will also propose that we must postpone and reconvene. But we must also check in terms of the report from the AG and the civil secretariat and the unions. If there is something in that presentations that perhaps expected that the National Commissioner must also, for example, if it is a line that he must say something regarding that. So I want us to postpone and reconvene. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Klutter. Honourable Schikkeling.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, my question just is, I mean, I have no problem with us going through the reports, but who are we going to question? There's nobody to question here today. We can listen, and then we're going to have to leave, and then we're going to have to come back again, and then we have to refresh everybody's minds and go through the whole process again. So to me, it's almost like a fruitless and wasteful day, because who are we questioning? There's nobody here to question. And as you rightfully said, Chairperson, this committee has gotten a very bad reputation over the last few weeks for things that was not our fault. And I don't want anybody to ever come back and say, you did not fulfill your mandate, because I again say, Chair, we showed up today. Several of the people that are sitting here today have been in Parliament for the last week and a half until 11, 12 o'clock at night, fulfilling our duties. We just expect the same respect from the SAPS, which they're not doing. And I don't think it's fair towards us or towards anybody else that is sitting in this room with what is happening today. So I don't fundamentally have an issue with it. I think we should probably adjourn. But the question is, who do we ask questions to? There is nobody here that's going to be able to assist us because the accounting officer is absent. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honourable Schikkeling. Honourable Matthijs.
Thank you, Chair. I don't want to say anything, just as a disclaimer, because we are products of a 1 o'clock meeting last night, so it might look like we were just trying to dodge our duties here this morning. But as I said earlier, And exactly what Honorable Schickling is saying is that who do we ask questions to? And the format of these meetings, Honorable Gunn has got a lot of energy because he hasn't been with us until 2 o'clock in the morning. But generally the format of this is that we have it set up like this for a specific reason. So I am of the view, and I maintain the view, that we postpone and we do everything as we normally have been in the format with the AG. But also, is the DG for the Civilian Secretariat here? Okay, so yeah, we also have
No
that
apology.
issue as well. With no apology. So yeah, that's the EFF position from the Progressive Caucus. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Ghana.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. So I would like to appeal to my Progressive Caucus colleagues. So, and to Honorable Schickling. So Sarah was not going to appear today, according to the program. But the AG will have spoken to Sarah, will have spoken to IPID, will have spoken to other entities that were not due to appear today. The AG covers the entirety of the portfolio, but it doesn't mean that you have to deal with the entirety of the portfolio on the same day. So what you will have, say for instance, Chair, because I serve in transport, the AG will come, give us the full picture of what's happening in the department, but then we will then engage the entities, not necessarily in the same day, but in different days, because now we've got ammunition from the AG. What I'm appealing is that let's deal with the AG. Yeah. So the AG are the authors of their report. The police cannot answer on the report of the AG. So the National Commissioner cannot answer on what the AG has said. The people who have authored the report of the AG, they are sitting here with us. So if we have a question on anything from the AG, it's not for the minister or the accounting officer to answer on that. It's the authors of the report that says, this is what we found and so forth. What we then use is to then say, all right, the AG has found ABC in your department. What led to this? What are the corrective actions that you are taking? So I'm trying to say that it's not, we must not see the account. You can no longer deny that this is what's happening in your department, because there is an audit that was done on all this. So I would appeal to my far left Progressive Caucus member, both in terms of where she's sitting and of everything else.
Honorable Ghana,
that
if she's far left now, you far right.
I'm sitting to her right. I'm not far right. So let's deal with the. I appeal that we deal with the AG. We get the ammunition. The authors of the reports are here. Then we then deal with the SIRA and every other entity that we need to deal with. Have properly armed with what they found. I appeal to both the EFF, the DA, and the ANC, MK and ACDP. We are together on this one.
Reverend Meshwe.
Chairperson, without wanting to repeat what my colleague has said, I'm sure we all agree that the reports of the AG have been very helpful to us throughout the years. And I must thank them for the good work they've been doing. Now, if we have questions regarding what they have written, what is in the document, they are capable to answer those questions. So having more time with them will be to our benefit. But I think it will be unfair for them to be sent back and be asked to come back again at a later stage just because the minister and the National Commissioner are not here. So since they are able to answer the questions regarding the report that they wrote, them time so that whatever was going to be a question might be answered by them, giving the details of what they've written in their report. So that's also our appeal that the AG be allowed to carry on because they've done an excellent job. Nobody can deny that. Thank you.
Honorable Skosana.
Yeah, Chair, the only disadvantage that the only disadvantage in my view is that perhaps if SAPS was here, I mean NASCOM, SAPS is here anyway, but the question will be, SAPS will be asking the AG why do they have whatever findings they have, you know, but it will be very unfair that it will like we are gossiping the police. For me, hence I said that we must adjourn this meeting. I understand where Honorable Ghana comes from, the issue that it will give us time and ammunition. But it will be unfortunate that we will be, you know, gossiping, because it will be proper for SAPS members, in particular NASCOM or the CFO, you know, or whoever is, or the legal, you know, when those presentation is made by AG, for them to ask for themselves, you know, to account for themselves. Why this, why that? For us, we'll ask clear questions, but at the end of the day, all those questions must be answered by them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Skosana. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to go through each member. You have one word. The options are stay for the AG. That's way more than one word. Let's just say 2 words. Auditor-General, stay or go. Start with you, Honorable Skosana.
And unfortunately, my proposal is that as well. I don't say to say go, but yeah.
Honorable Skosana, that was 10 words.
Thank you, go. Yeah, well, they can come back again. Thank you.
Honorable Reverend Meshwe.
They are here, sir, and it is not the function and the duty of the minister to question them. If there's something they have reported that the minister and the National Commissioner do not agree with, they must make their time. But when they are in the committee, it is the committee's prerogative and also privilege to question them and not the ministers. So they must stay and present. Thank you.
Reverend, I think that was 67 words. Honorable Ghana.
Let's deal with the AG.
Thank you. Honorable Kluter.
Go.
Honorable Mokoena, I thought you were camouflaging there. You were very quiet. Stay or go?
Go.
Honorable Schikkeling.
Go, Chair.
Go.
Honorable Matthijs.
Hey, I'm also going to say extra words, but go. And the disclaimer is that the AG cannot answer the questions of why did this happen. And that's what we want. Not, I mean, we can get questions of clarity, but why the forensic lab irregular expenditure for that amount of money. So it's not that I want to go and sleep, it's because they're not going to be able to answer the why. And also, Chair, that they're going to have to come back anyway. So, thank you. Go, sorry.
I think that was 53 words, Honorable Matthijs. The meeting is adjourned. We will reconvene. Thank you. DM, sure, sorry. Apologies, colleagues. DM.
No, thank you, Chair. Morning to you, morning to members. I thought we should make a comment because I think it's necessary. We hear and understand where you come from, and the committee, we appreciate the issues that were said. And of course, it's not going to be an easy road. It's ahead, it's going to be difficult, but it's a road that we are determined to travel. And we will be walking side by side with yourselves. Unfortunately, we are bound together. The country are challenges that are necessary and that we should confront, but we shall overcome. The request that one would like to make, Chair, is that as we deal with the issues of how programming gets done, we should try as far as possible to find each other and also be alive to the challenges of the day that we're confronted with, which might necessitate that certain changes should be made to accommodate what is currently prevailing. And I think we should be able to address that. It's unfortunate that today we are gathered here with the challenges that are there, cabinet sitting and the minister having to attend that and not being able to come to this meeting, not because there is a disregard of this meeting. There is willingness to come and appear before the committee, and I'm certain that as when we come to engage, they will be here. Also, the National Commissioner, when you are not well, there's nothing that can be done. And I think that is the matter that we are dealing with the regard well, including the Secretary for the Civilian Secretariat. If you are on leave, you are on leave. Then you appoint people who act and have all the authority to decide on what needs to be done, and that's what we are confronted. I think it should be noted as such. The South African police, and that's why you have this contingent of members that are here. That is a sign we acknowledge the challenges that we are confronted with, and these are the challenges that I'm saying to you we will overcome. There is no way that we are not going to overcome these challenges before us. That should be understood, and I'm happy that members did, in the course of the conversation, as you arrive at a decision, noted that, yes, we note that police are there and they are here, they came, and policing is taking place in South Africa. It has not collapsed. Yes, we are going through a difficult moment, but it's a moment that we shall get out of. And it is clear we are going to reset as we move forward, including how we interface with yourself. You are sending a message to us, which is very clear in terms of where you are standing, and we are not questioning. We are not questioning that, and I think you are doing all this for the benefit of the country, and we appreciate that. And from our side, we'll play our role, and we work well with the Auditor-General, and we are not questioning what they are presenting before you. They have discussed these issues. We know what is in here, and there is no dispute. Ours is to take the guidance that they've given us to ensure that things are done. There are people who have appeared and they are appearing, but I think it will be important, Chair, to say that the head of legal, who is Lieutenant General Kamani, has not appeared before anybody, and he has not said anything that brings anybody into question. But of course, there are issues that you have raised, but I thought that point must be cleared. But I'm not opening a discussion around that matter, but I thought I should say what I've said and appreciate this moment that you have given us, Chair, to comment. And I thought it will not be appropriate for us to just take our bags and go without saying the things that I have said. And once more, we appreciate where you come from and we understand and we hear your concern, and the message will be communicated to the leadership of the institution. Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, DM. I may, just before we adjourn, just to give you an idea, is that with regards to the DG, we didn't receive anything, not even that he's on leave. So we didn't receive any notice of that. With regards to the National Commissioner, no one said that he's not well. We just received a notice that he will not be able to attend. And with regards to the Minister, it was via WhatsApp for Cabinet. So I really appreciate your approach, DM, and I think we have a good relationship. So we always welcome you and the effort that you put in. So thank you for your words. But those are the challenges that we have. I think this institution and this committee has a tough few months. You know, some of our meetings, especially on the 5th of March, you'd remember they were quite at some stage during many of those meetings. So I want to get on track and be able to operate. So sometimes it's important to be frank. I'm going to just thank the representatives of the unions that also came. I apologize, but we will be in communication. Colleagues, with that, the meeting is now officially adjourned, closed, and Honourable Matthys can go and rest now.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings, not your notes. It captures everything, from action items to key decisions. And after every call, you get a clear summary. But where it really goes to the next level is that it's the only AI note taker that connects your meetings to the rest of your work. So stop stressing about taking notes and get the AI note taker that works for you. Get ClickUp AI Note Taker for your next meeting.
Thank you, Chair. I feel like one of those people that need to get everyone up and stretch and turn around and just to make sure everyone is awake. General, firstly, thank you for putting up with us today. It's been a very, very long day, so I'm going to go very, not fast, but I'm going to ask the questions very directly. So if some of them come across quite direct, don't necessarily take it as a point of disrespect. They are going to be direct questions. Some of them I just started writing in the one of the last 2 or 3 people that questioned you. You referred to General Moodley, you referred to General Khan, you referred to General Teo as well. And I want to start my questions with a statement that says you're judged by the company you keep. Before I ask questions regarding those associations, what I want to ask you is, and it can be a very short answer, is, General, isn't it a dangerous precedent when you advise juniors, and when I say juniors, major generals, I'm not talking about, in junior ranks, of the very division that you used to be or have control over. Before the new structure was approved, you were in charge of the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence. Isn't it setting a dangerous precedent to then advise the juniors of the current Divisional Commissioner on whether they should or shouldn't go to court?
I was not advising the junior members, I was advising the divisional commissioners and say, this is a matter that you can deal with. I don't think it's advisable to go to court.
But you said General, you said that you advised, you told, I think, General Khan or General Moodley to not go to court.
No, I was telling General Kumalo. It was General Khan went to court. And then I said, don't go to court because you may lose. You're going to lose.
But then who did you say shouldn't do the expeditious process?
I was telling General Kumalo.
To not do expeditious?
To not do the expeditious.
Then General Khan rushed to court.
Then he did. He proceeded without listening to him.
But you told General Khan, I think you almost said it again now, you told General Khan not to go to court.
Chair, can I be assisted here?
Yeah.
I said, General Khan, General Khan, and he was using the expeditious approach in a matter of 2021. It's a very long time matter outstanding, and he's been at work working. So in other words, when you have to charge him, you have to follow the normal disciplinary process, not go expeditious. And then he didn't listen. He charged him using the regulation of expeditious. And then General Khan, in order to defend himself, he ran to court.
And he succeeded.
And yes, and he succeeded. That is what I was saying.
Okay, General, I'm sorry if I misunderstood earlier, but you, and I'm going to labor the point. Earlier you said that General Kumalo was going to do expeditious against General Khan, correct? Yes. You told General Kumalo, why would he do expeditious, correct?
Yes.
just now when I asked you at first, you said General Khan shouldn't go to court, right?
Never said General Khan shouldn't go to court.
Not he said.
But Chair, apologies, Chair, but then there was a problem with previous questions because that's exactly what was quoted earlier.
Yeah, what he said was that he advised that when the matter of General Khan went to court, General Khan succeeded in his court litigation. And then General, you said it's Moody, went to court and he lost.
Okay. Did you tell General Moodley not to go to court?
No.
General, I think we're in different rooms here because this differs directly. I see the members nodding as well. I'll go back to it. I'll come back to it later. Chair, there's something wrong here. Moodley was instructed to report to the Inspectorate. I followed up on this in Parliament several times. General, when General Moodley was reporting to you still, he was instructed by yourself to go to Inspectorate and he refused. The reason I'm asking this tonight is because ground level members, if they don't submit leave correctly or they make a mistake, very, very often, if it's not expeditious, they even get pay cuts. But they face severe punishment, sometimes, in my opinion, overkill punishment. General Moodley was away from work. Tonight, you're defending him here when you spoke earlier, and you can differ from me, but he was away from work for 2 years. What did you do to remedy that?
Remember that General Moodley was away because he was removed from his position. And as he was removed from his position, he was being sent to Inspectorate. Now, this is the member of Crime Intelligence who grew up in Crime Intelligence. You are taking him out of Crime Intelligence, you're saying he must go to the Inspectorate. And he's saying to you, myself and General Jacobs, we don't have a relationship at all. And I can tell you, it won't work. Then the National Commission say, all right, let's see where we can place him. Choose three stations, clusters where he can be transferred. They gave him 3 where he must choose. He chose Gauteng. Now he feels that he then asks, okay, when must I report and where? But this is after quite some time he was on sick leave, quite some time. Now, in my case, I say he then received a letter that says you either come to work or you are fired. He got fired, and then he went to court to challenge the expulsion. So he went to court, and the court ruled in his favor. Now, in my case, I wasn't defending anybody here. What I was saying is that there's something called interpersonal relations. What needs to happen is that you must be able to build a team in such a way that you work with everybody that you work with. You work with people, with staff that supports you. So it wasn't like I'm supporting General Moodley.
Thank you, General. General, and I want to give context to it. The reason I'm asking those questions is because you said you gave vague answers about there being factions. Now, the whole conspiracy with this entire conflict was that General Moodley, Khan, and to a certain extent General Teal were part of one of the factions. Now, to be very honest with you, and this is a comment, not a question, Chair, in the Chair's absence, is that I find it embarrassing that it sounds like a Spanish telenova, a soapy, let's call it that, Days of Our Lives, when we have to determine who likes who in SAPS management. And it's the reason why this country looks the way that it does with regards to crime. I'll come back to that just now. General, when you were in your capacity as the DNC that still had crime intelligence under you, what did you do when General Moodley was away for 2 years? Because he stayed away, and you can't tell me he was sick because I followed this up through Parliament. He didn't submit sick leave. So for 2 years, Major General was away, no sick note, and he was eventually dismissed for it. What action did you take in that regard?
Personally, I remember he was not completely, he was sick, but he would show up sometimes bringing the sick note. And then I would talk to him and say, but why don't you come report? Even if you are to come and report here in my office, come to report in my office and say, no, I'll speak to my doctor. But I'll then say, okay, let me also speak to the National Commissioner so that the National Commissioner can agree with me that you're not going to go to the college, to General Jacobs. You can come report here with the hope that I was going to give him projects such as extortion rackets, your cash in transit, your kidnapping, so that he can run the operations on those. And then when I speak to the National Commissioner said, no, you can't keep him in your office because you don't have a post in your office. Then what I was trying to do to assist also was not approved by the National Commissioner. Now, in my case, it was now between him and the Divisional Commissioner.
General, again, you need to, and again, I say this very directly, but and respectfully, you need to decide whether you're going to be the peacemaker or you're going to be the DNC. You can't allow for crime intelligence that currently in shambles the way that it is, for someone to ad infinitum stay away from work, and when they pop in, they can. The reason I ask this is because General Moodley, amongst others, and you'll see how the names fit in when I continue with the questions, even flew up to head office to visit you. During my time following up through Parliament and asking questions, etc., it was very clear as we received information that he had visited Pretoria several times. And I find it interesting that you now say he won his court case when he's currently still dismissed. I know he's taking it on appeal, but he's currently still dismissed. And this leads me to the following question. You then again create the impression about General Teal. Now, General Teal was previously investigated with allegations of kidnapping, assault, GBH, attempt, currently on his way to trial for defeating the ends of justice. And that's why I started with a quote of saying that you are judged by the company you keep. Because it's ironic to me at the moment, with all of the statements that we've heard today, that those names are the ones that you choose to show some kind of ill treatment, and that it creates the impression of further factionalism. General, I want to move just regards to ranks and promotions, and I want to zoom in again on crime intelligence, and I want to ask you whether you questioned it or had any reservations about it. You mentioned, I think yesterday, a driver that was overnight promoted to captain in KZN. I think it was to captain. Again, when I look at General Moodley and General Khan, both of them were promoted not too long ago, directly from Lieutenant Colonel to Major General. And that in itself is a significant jump in ranks. We were talking about General Konazi earlier. I've got my own questions about the way that he was promoted, and we can debate that. But skipping 2 or 3 ranks at any given time is significant. Did you have questions about that?
I don't have knowledge of that because I was not there.
Thank you, General. General, I want to move to the issue of Vusimusi Kat Matlala. When you were at organized crime as a commander there, or let's park that, you were a commander of organized crime. You told us in this house that you had no recollection of Kat Matlala's criminal background, correct?
Yes.
General, how is it possible that you led organized crime, even now as DNC detection, crime detection, and to a certain extent crime intelligence as well? Matlala has a 25-year-old record, criminal record, of significant offenses. I mean, a lot of them were in the media. I went and drew them up today, from cash in transit heist, illicit firearms, and scores of those cases were withdrawn. Did you do anything from your side to do any kind of due diligence regarding Mr. Matlala?
I think the people who were supposed to do due diligence on Mr. Matlala, the people who actually gave him a tender. At the time he applied, I think they interviewed them, And these are the people who must check on them and then get their CVs and everything. But the fact that he was given a tender, to me, he appeared to be a normal businessman who is a stockholder because he was actually operating from the College of the Police.
Every tab of Vicks, a memory lingers in the air. The rub on your chest. Care passed down from Oma to Mama to you. Relief is in our roots.
Mo chose Parmalat, South Africa's #1 cheese, and he went far. Parmalat, better every day.
To build this so-called organized crime network, and while you're heading up organized crime and you're heading up later on detective services, you didn't know the background of Kat Matlala, one of the notorious, seemingly, or let's call him one of the highest ranking criminals in South Africa. You didn't know anything about him.
No, I didn't know anything about it. And to be quite honest, Chair, it doesn't mean that when you are the component head, organized crime, which means you must know everybody who is a criminal. You will have, in the provinces, you will have a provincial head of organized crime. And then in Gauteng, there's also people who will know about him. But in my case, quite honestly speaking, I didn't know him.
General, I want to put it to you that that is the reason why we are seeing the levels of organized crime in this country, because I can tell you now that it should have raised significant red flags. And when he received that tender, not even talking about General Fani, I mean, General Fani should have his entire own inquiry. We should spend an entire week just with him about procurement, because it seems to me, from what I hear from the Auditor-General, the police committee are going to have a field day regarding that. But just regarding the red flags with you, is that I have the capacity of organized crime in the South African Police Service, if you weren't able to identify that person. To say you didn't know the different or all the criminals in the country, it's not an accurate statement, because there's a difference between Vusi Musi Kat Matlala and a sidewalk Scully in Tembisa. Big difference. General, I want to move to the matter regarding, or furthermore, Kat Matlala. With regards to the reports that were submitted to your office by the Hawks, or IDAC for that matter, in 2024-25, about the criminal probes in terms of Matlala, was it never flagged with you? Did the Hawks or IDAC never come and speak to you about this whole Matlala crisis?
Not at all.
Chair, I think that's something we can ask them about then as well, because there's a serious, very serious oversight lab with internal capacity. General, furthermore, the matter of Kat Matlala and withdrawn cases. On what I just told you, several criminal cases were opened against Matlala over the years, and almost every one of those cases was withdrawn or quietly struck off the roll. Did you ever question why that kept happening?
Because that subject never came up. I didn't know that this man is actually a habitual criminal, or has got so many cases withdrawn against him. It never actually happened. It's unfortunate, Chair, because at this point in time, I'm expected, or I'm being asked questions whether, didn't you know about this man? Didn't you know that he's got criminal record? But I don't think it is fair that I'm expected to, when I meet somebody, I must call someone and say, please conduct an investigation on this, run tests on this individual. I'll end up doing it with everybody.
Not at all. Kat Matlala, Brown Magotsi, there were several names mentioned in the last 2 days of people that have significant influence. So you can't compare them to sidewalk Scullies. There's a big difference. And if you're heading organized crime or division crime detection, then surely you should have some kind of a dashboard or a list of who your top dogs are, who the whether it's the real, what do we call them, the big five or the fake big five. I don't know who to believe anymore, it seems, but we must have some kind of a list where this is indicated. If a stakeholder gets 360 million rands worth of tender in South African Police Service, then it is the entire SAPS management, and it includes you and General Masemola. There needs to be serious questions with regards to due diligence. General, I want to refresh your memory on the cases of Mr. Kat Matlala. 2018, 11-0 Porsche, attempted murder, withdrawn. 2016, Santon, possession of a firearm without a license and impersonation of a police officer, withdrawn. Silverton, 2015, carjacking and possession of stolen goods, withdrawn. Alberton, house robbery, withdrawn. Burglary, residential premises, withdrawn. Possession of housebreaking equipment, withdrawn. Common assault, cash in transit heist, not guilty, acquitted. Brooklyn, theft out of a motor vehicle, withdrawn. And so the list goes on. There are many, many more. What I'm saying to you, General, it's physically impossible that he could have slipped with the system. Someone helped him. And if it wasn't in your office, then it was in the office of General Fani. But there was significant help to Kat Matlala. General, you've repeatedly blamed crime intelligence for operational failures, but I want to ask you whether you ever issued any kind of a formal directive to crime intelligence to target Kat Matlala or Brown Mogotsi over the past 12 months.
Naked people are great dancers, because less time on insurance admin means more time perfecting their moves.
To start with, Chair, I don't think it is fair that all the records that the honorable member was reading here. I was not in the police. And the chair is saying, I wonder if it was not in your office or Fani, General Fani. It's really unfortunate and it's not fair at all, because we are not accountable and responsible for people that are criminals. And if that is the case, why did the police give him a tender? I was not there. I don't know. So that statement, really, I don't accept it, Chair. And then as to whether I gave any order or any instruction to crime intelligence to investigate Kat Matlala, crime intelligence has got a counterintelligence. They do their work, they know their work, and if they do it. They don't have to get any instruction from me. I didn't know about Kat Matlala's involvement in crime.
So even when you're the DNC, crime intelligence, before the new structure was implemented, you didn't give any form of instruction?
That's worse. When I'm the DNC, I'm not that operational. I'm more now at strategic level. I'm throughout the country running with the National Commissioner and the ministers in all strategic issues and attending in BIZOs and all other areas where I'm sent by the National Commissioner.
So is the closing down of the PKTT purely a strategic issue?
The closing down of the PKTT, remember, it's an official instruction that came from the minister through the National Commissioner. So it is not a criminal thing, a side issue that happening somewhere in a corner, unknown. It is an open official thing that was happening.
I'm not saying anything unknown, General. I'm asking whether you gave any instruction to crime intelligence. You explained that there's a false narrative that was being driven against you in the media. Did you ever task counterintelligence specifically to investigate such, especially with regards to the internal communication? You'd remember on that very famous 5th of March meeting, we discussed smear campaigns against people in the South African Police Service.
But I think, Chair, crime intelligence head, the divisional commissioner, reported to me. But the officials under the divisional commissioner, crime intelligence, were not being tasked by me. I could not call a counter and say, come here, Mr. The national commissioner can do that. But in my case, there was no relationship with crime intelligence. There was no relationship with even the head of crime intelligence.
No relationship?
Yes.
General, you speak of unfair, but you know what's unfair? That we're sitting here at 11:30 on a Tuesday night about a group of adult men and women that can't get along in the police. General, did you ever demand any form of disciplinary action for those who allegedly stalled or didn't investigate? But you now said there was no investigation with regards to the smear campaign, so let's rather just skip that. General, I want to go to the last few questions. I want to ask with regards to the minister that withdrew the advertisement for the position of the national head of the DPCI, indicating that the process will be extended to find the right person for the post. As someone who publicly expressed, this is you, interest in the position and has long served within the South African Police Service leadership, how did this decision and the implied suggestion that the right person had not yet been found make you feel, both personally and professionally? Do you believe that the withdrawal reflects a lack of confidence in you and the current pool of senior SAPS leadership, or do you see it as part of the broader political or institutional contestation over the control of the Hawks?
I think that's a question that can be responded to by the minister.
No, General, I'm asking what is your opinion, not the minister's opinion. He'll have his day.
I don't have an opinion on that.
So it doesn't bother you that they said they're waiting for the right candidate?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm one of the applicants and I didn't have really, I have expectations to be shortlisted. And if I was not shortlisted or maybe it was withdrawn, it means the right candidates did not succeed or were not really there to be considered. So you win some, you lose some. If you are not part or you are not in their plans, unfortunately, that is what it is.
Thank you, General. General, would you say, let me ask you first, yes or no, was it unconstitutional or unlawful for the minister to order the closing of the PKTT?
155.
147.
Heart rate 163.
Yeah, almost 160.
Close. Okay, I'll make a drink for you.
I'm sticking with you.
Personally, I don't see anything unlawful about it.
So it's constitutional. You think it's constitutional?
Yes.
See, I was planning to ask you because from what I could find, it's not constitutional. We can't give an operational structure. And I actually wanted to ask you whether you would jump off the roof of this house had the minister asked you that. Because everyone keeps telling me that they follow orders when it suits them in SAPS. But when it comes to the ground level issues and the frustrations that we keep on asking questions about, whether it's from the committee or elsewhere in Parliament, things are stalled and it's extremely frustrating. Chair, I want to close by maybe just saying that the trust relationship for effective policing is essential, especially in the management of SAPS and I guess all the accounting bodies around it, Parliament too. But by the actions that we've witnessed today and even over the last few weeks, with many different stories and testimonies, I really want to say that the public's confidence in SAPS, I think, has never been undermined on the level that it has now. And I think, Chair, we've got a huge responsibility from our side as Parliament, broadly speaking, to try and assist in restoring that integrity and credibility of SAPS. General, I want to end off by saying you're judged by the company you keep. These meetings and breakfasts with Brown Mokgotsi, in the calls, Kat Matlala, etc. There's an Afrikaans saying that says, meng jou met die semels, dan vreet die varke jou op. Die varke gaan vir jou opvreet. Thanks, Chair.
Very much, Chairperson and General. Like I do with everyone, I want to reassure you that I have no bias. I would pose questions to you for issues of clarity. Some of my colleagues has covered a whole lot of things that I think there are clarity on it. So I will just focus on the things where I think I need clarity on. But I will treat you the same as others, other witnesses, and will take a position after the entire process is over. So let me start by saying thank you. As a patriotic South African, your rank, you as a police officer, thank you for your service. We're going to begin with a controversial issue that was raised in testimony, where General Mkwanazi testified that members of crime intelligence has advanced equipment that can access people's WhatsApps and deleted messages. The question was posed to the National Commissioner, and in his testimony, he said he can't answer, he will refer that to his divisional commissioners. While you are a deputy divisional commissioner. So I'm going to pose the question to you. And does crime intelligence have advanced equipment?
We are raised by the ones who know what to do. This Heritage Month, we honor a legacy of love that heals. From Oma to Mama to you. Relief is in our roots.
To access people's WhatsApps?
Chair, it will be irresponsible of me to respond to that type of a question in the sense that I will be displaying out there the capacity and of the crime intelligence and the expertise the police have. So it's something that I cannot really account or say that because remember that if I say yes or no, the criminals out there will benefit from this response. So I think I must join the National Commissioner there to say, if the Divisional Commissioner want to say it, he will say it, but I doubt if he will do it.
Should this committee take the testimony of General Mkwanazi then as fact or hearsay? Because the National Commissioner didn't deny it, he just said he's going to confirm with someone on your rank or your position. Should we consider it hearsay or fact?
At this point in time, Chair, on the issue of those type of equipment, whether they exist or not, it remains the secret of crime intelligence on how they fight crime. So it's not something I can really venture into.
Is there a possibility that such equipment does exist?
It's the same question that where we come from, Chair, that I cannot really respond to that type of a question, Chair. Out of respect as well, Chair, it's just a question that is not easy when you are a law enforcer.
There are allegations around that issue that such equipment does exist and it is an outsourced, it's outsourced equipment, and the outsourced company is a family member of a former minister. Is this allegation true?
Not that I'm aware of. I do know that there are private security companies that will have capacity over and above extra or ordinary policing, because there are powerful security companies there who some of them may be licensed, some of them may not be licensed, but they invest in technology, and some of them you'll find that they procure this equipment overseas, and you will have such a situation because the market is open.
Is that a yes?
It's a complicated one for me, Chair.
General, on security clearance, do you have security clearance?
Yes, I've got it here now.
Does General Mkwanazi have security clearance?
I heard him saying he doesn't have it.
Does those who are investigating you have security clearance?
I don't think so. In the Western Cape Provincial Commissioner, he doesn't have it.
In layman's terms, explain what are the implications of investigating without security clearance.
Security clearance is not a requirement for an investigation, but if you are a senior manager who comes up or who is expected to deal with top secret document, depending on the level of classification, you are expected to have a top clearance, top security clearance. Because let's say, for instance, you're a provincial commissioner. You deal with matters that some of them are classified and highly classified. I cannot imagine if there's a top secret document that comes, that must be discussed. The provincial commissioner will say, hey, this one I can't work on. I don't have a top clearance certificate. I can't even read it. It must go somewhere. It is expected that all the provincial commissioners, they must have security clearance, top secret clearance certificate.
Does General Mkwanazi access these type of top secret information without a security clearance?
Well, some of the things that he mentions, because General Kumalo reports to General Mkwanazi, some of the things that he mentioned may tell me that he does have access as well.
Just hold it, the Honorable Souls, Honorable Ngola.
Chair, I think the General, in responding to Honorable Sol, says General Kumalo reports to General Mkwanazi. I think it's a bit tricky and a bit confusing because our understanding is that General Kumalo is the head of crime intelligence. General Mkwanazi is the provincial commissioner. In terms of the line duty, I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I'm not sure. We're a bit confused by that, maybe if.
Yeah, not the General can clarify it.
The PKTT, I know the fact that it is, the project leader is General Kumalo. But the person who's fighting hard in this case is General Mkwazi, who says, I was not told, and the targets were taken without my permission. Now, General Kumalo had to account to General Mkwanazi. So when it comes to the PKK, General Kumalo reports to General Mkwanazi. That is why General Mkwanazi is the one who's on his feet and fighting for this process. Hence, I'm saying he reports to him.
You want to make a follow-up?
Understood it. Is it the official reporting line duty or it's something else that is out of the ordinary?
Well, it's the official because it was done so official. This is how it was designed, that he will report to General Kumalo. To General Mkwanazi.
Okay. The member is satisfied. Before you proceed, Honorable Souls, did I also hear you saying that the head of the Western Cape also does not have a security clearance?
Yes.
When you say the head, you mean the provincial commissioner?
The provincial commissioner.
And who else, apart from the two?
I don't know about the others.
These are the two that you know.
These ones I know because I have been involved with them, or they've been involved in my matters at least.
Go ahead, be bold.
So the question that Honorable Sauls asks you, and you respond by saying that yes, General Kumalo reports to General Mkwanas, so he may have access to this type of information. It may be happening elsewhere.
When I listen to General Mkwanazi both in the commission, judicial commission, and here in the ad hoc, he will every now and then throw in what they are busy with and that they're about to effect arrest. And he talks about things of counterintelligence. He talks about things that come from the intelligence space. He talks about things that, just like Brown Mohosi will tell you about information that belongs in the intelligence space. But General Mkwanas will tell you about something that belongs in the intelligence space himself.
Yeah. When I ask this question, General, is to establish understanding whether a provincial commissioner like the one you have in the Western Cape or elsewhere in the Republic who does not have security clearance, is it possible that such incumbents may also have access to that information without them being cleared?
Yes, they do have access without them being cleared, because there's no way as a provincial commissioner you can run a province and you don't come across documents of a top secret nature. Whether you deal with issues of parliament, whether you deal with issues of a matter, a sensitive matter that is classified as top secret, as a provincial commissioner, you will deal with such a matter. I cannot believe that the whole 5 years will go without you having seen a single document that is classified as top secret, you being the provincial commissioner. But the bottom line is that they don't have security clearance.
That is the point that I wanted you to confirm. I'm handing back to Honorable Sauls to continue.
Should this be allowed, General?
Not at all.
Who is the person allowing them to do this without clearance?
I think the accounting officer is the one who should actually ensure that all people that are appointed in terms of, or as the provincial commissioners or the top structure of the police should have top clearance certificate.
Who's the accounting officer that you're referring to?
It's the National Commissioner.
General Mkwanas testified that the Premier Lesufi created a crime prevention unit that was illegal. Was it illegal?
I heard him when he was testifying that, and I do know that there's a matter that was actually discussed in one of the POCs. And as far as I'm concerned, it is not illegal, because if it was illegal, I don't think the president would allow the premier to go and continue with something that is illegal, because this is crime fighting and these are enough boots on the ground. They are force multipliers. But in fact, I do know that he goes in the meeting, he went to an extent of saying to the National Commissioner, just say the word and I will effect arrest. And I can safely say that I raised it. The minutes are there. I did say, but you can't say you can arrest anybody there, because the bottom line is there's no way the Premier can implement something that was not authorized, because it is firstly job opportunity. Secondly, they play a major role in making sure that they fill up the street. Every corner you come across them, and there's crime prevention. And when you look at the resources and the capacity they are bringing in fighting crime in the city of Joburg, you will realize that the situation has changed, especially city center where crime was rife. It was rough to go downtown to be in the city, but since their appointment, they are working and crime is reduced.
General, you just said in a meeting, I heard him say, just say the word, I will arrest, I will effect the arrest. Which meeting? Who was in the meeting? And who is he that you are referring to that said he wants to arrest?
It was a Board of Commissioners meeting. And in that meeting, that's where he mentioned that, because they were actually debating it, including legal, and legal was tasked to go and check whether are these people peace officers or not, and should they be existing or not, because the Constitution says there shall be only one police service. They were saying these people cannot be appointed because one moment you are going to have a situation now where you will have to, or you will be expected to convert them into police officials. So he was saying that these are illegally established. And then, since they are illegally established, he said, just say the word, one word, I will go arrest. So when he says, just say the word, I'll go arrest, I don't know whether he was meaning he will go arrest the Premier or he will go arrest all of them. But I guess the minutes of the meeting are there to say it.
Who's he?
General Mkwanazi.
So General Mkwanazi, in a meeting discussing this, says to the National Commissioner that he should just give the word and he'll go arrest.
Yes.
And what stopped, or did the arrest happen? What stopped?
No, it couldn't happen because the legal services was assigned to go and check the statute, the law, what the law says, can these people be regarded as peace officers? And I think it was ultimately done where they were sworn in as peace officers.
So there are...
Okay, Honorable Souls. May I take you, Honorable Sangwe?
Sorry, just a clarity-seeking question. General, which meeting are you referring to? And am I hearing you correctly that the KZN Commissioner said he would arrest in Gauteng?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, which meeting?
It's a POC meeting, if I remember very well. But it was a meeting at the college where it was provincial commissioners and other senior officials.
Are you satisfied, Honorable Member? Thanks very much, Honorable Souls. You may proceed.
So, General, there are occasions then where General Mkwanazi asks Commissioner first whether he can effect an arrest, or informs the National Commissioner before he effects an arrest.
He was not informing him before he can effect arrest. He was just saying, just say the word and I'll effect arrest.
But I'm trying to establish the type of relationship that he would say before he goes and arrest. He would inform or ask.
He would, and he should, because remember, he's from KZN, he's not from Gauteng. So whatever that he does in Gauteng, it should be with the permission and the knowledge of the National Commission.
I'm asking that because yesterday, not yesterday, when I interrogated the National Commissioner and asked this question on the search and seizure or the arrest for yourself. The National Commissioner said he didn't know about that, or that he doesn't know about arrests. So you saying that it's protocol to inform him?
Yes, to say he didn't know, we'll never buy into that.
Where was the members from who went to your house to arrest you, but ended up just seizing property?
All of them from KZN.
Who sent them?
I know it's General Mkwanazi, because people like Brigadier Kunene, the members that I was investigating this case of AKA with, they were there as well. So it's all a team from KZN.
So based
which
on
is
what,
unfortunate, though.
so based on what you just told me,
General, you were saying the team that came to your house is coming from KZN.
That is correct, Chair.
May proceed, Honorable Source.
so General, based on what you just told me about the National Commission knowing or not knowing, are you saying with that that General Mkwanazi, as you claim, was the one who sent the members, would have told the National Commissioner of such a arrest or search and seizure?
That is correct, Chair.
Let's go into the possibility of factions within the ranks, because that's something that we have dealt with. General Mkwanazi testified that you are a baby in rank in comparison to him. What is your rank?
I'm a Deputy National Commissioner and I'm a senior to him.
What is your rank?
I'm a Lieutenant General and a Deputy National Commissioner.
What is General Mkwanazi's rank?
He's a Lieutenant General, a Provincial Commissioner.
General, in layman's terms, explain to us the protocols on how you become a Lieutenant General.
As you grow up the ranks, you become a Major General. And then you will have a cross sword and 2 stars. Then you become a Lieutenant General with 3 stars. Then you become a National Commissioner, 1 General with 4 stars. So you become a general, a Lieutenant General. All generals, major generals that are entering or stepping into the general rank are major generals, which is the lower rank of being in the general space. Then when you get promoted, you become a Lieutenant General. Then when you become promoted more, either you become a Deputy National Commissioner General himself, the National Commissioner. So, let's understand from this point, when General Mkwanazi was appointed as when he was appointed as the Major General, I was already a general. And then in 2 months, 3 months into his newly appointed position, he was appointed as the acting National Commissioner, which could not happen. And even when he walked into the door, the Lieutenant Generals and Deputy National Commissioner could not even stand up to salute because this is their junior. But for him to be considered and really be put in a position to can act, overnight he was then promoted to become a Lieutenant General. I guess others were saying he's a baby, but he became that Lieutenant General. And he was then able to act as a national commissioner. He has since then become the Lieutenant General over the period of time.
In 2011, that is when this happened, right? Where he was appointed the acting national commissioner. And you are saying that there wasn't a normal process of him going from Major General to Lieutenant General. It was merely because he was appointed acting national commissioner, and that's how he got the rank.
Yes,
Lieutenant General.
It compelled the then president to really also overnight bring him up quickly, because he could not become acting from Major General.
According to the General Mkwanazi's testimony in the Judicial Commission section, page 9, at section 15.3, he was section head in 2011. From 2025 to 2011, he was section head, Special Task Force. And then in 2011, he was component head for specialized operations for 7 months only in 2011. What is the difference between section head and component head?
A component head, you are in charge of the whole component, and the whole component will have different sections. It will have a section that deals with fleet, a section that deals with Amari. I'm giving you an example. It will have a section that deals with, I don't know their structure within task force, but the section heads are under a component head. Component head is one leader who is running the whole component. In my case, I have component heads. Having component heads, serious and violent detectives, CSI, you will have organized crime, you will have commercial crime, but under commercial crime now, then you will have section head of the different roles. The one will be cybercrime section head. The one will be, let's say, section head that deals with counterfeit goods. Section head that deals with this. So the difference between section head and a component head is that component head is above a section.
So he gets this bigger position that he only stays in 7 months, and then gets to become the acting national commissioner in 2011.
Yes.
So from a junior to the most senior.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Are you aware that General Masemola was the deputy provincial commissioner until 2010, and in 2010 was then transferred to Pretoria? Are you aware?
I am aware, not that much of his career, but I know that he was here and then as a deputy national commissioner, and then from there removed as a deputy national commissioner, made a provincial commissioner in Limpopo, and then later come back again up until when he was appointed as the national commissioner.
So a year later, General Mkwanazi becomes acting national commissioner. Do they now work at the same place? The now national commissioner and General Mkwanazi now works at the same place in 2011.
Now the national commissioner is the national commissioner of the police at head office. This is where General Mkwanazi was. But after General Mkwanazi was removed, he was replaced by General Ria Pierre. And then after General Ria Pierre, another national commissioner followed.
Okay. So now in 2012, months after General Mkwanazi is acting national commissioner in 2012, are you aware that he then gives or appoints General Masemola now as Deputy National Commissioner Operations. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
So General Mkwanazi does that before he leaves.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Is there anybody else that got promoted apart from General Masemola?
Promoted as what?
Anybody else that was appointed as acting national commissioner that General Mkwanazi appointed, or was it just that appointment of General Masemola?
No, since General Masemola was appointed as a national commissioner, he's still a national commissioner.
No, when General Mkwanazi was the acting, he appointed General Masemola as the Deputy National Commissioner for Operations. Is there any other people during that time that General Mkwanazi appointed into positions except for General Masemola?
I'm not so sure, Chair. I'm gonna make mistakes in that because I was not part of that.
Then in 2018, of course, General Mkwanazi becomes acting provincial commissioner, and in April 2021, he becomes full provincial commissioner of KZN. 2022, General Masemola becomes the national commissioner in 2022. And then in the same year, are you aware that he then appoints General Khumalo in 2022 as the divisional head for crime intelligence?
Yes.
Please state for the record.
Yes, I'm quite aware that the General Khumalo was appointed as a divisional commissioner somewhere around about 2022. I don't have his CV and I may not be accurate.
So, General, as a trained investigator, would you say this is a pattern of friends promoting each other?
That is not for me really to say at this point in time, Chair.
You testified earlier that there are cliques and it creates an unhealthy working environment. Who are you referring to when you say there are cliques?
Personally, at this point in time, when I'm facing, I'm sure the whole world can see that I'm faced with a situation where it is General Khumalo, General Masemola, General Patekile, and General Khumalo. I'm in a situation now and overwhelmed by a lot of processes at the same time with a view to push me out. So you will see that General Mkwanazi, in fact, for me to have been removed, it was just planned that General Mkwanazi will go make a press conference, and then out of that press conference, I'll be calling him and I'll be suspending him. And then I get suspended, and after I get suspended, then General Patekile comes, he clears General Khumalo from the investigations that they were arrested for, and then from the, in my case, General Khumalo conduct a short investigation and then recommend that I be charged, and then from there, I expect anything in this case that will happen. But the bottom line is there is a clear focus by a group of people that are focusing on making sure that I am out of the system.
General Mkwanazi testified that the docket was taken, and I know you already testified on that, that's why I don't want to go in detail with it. But then when it was discovered that the dockets does not contain anything about how and then the dockets was sent back, and then General Khumalo was targeted because of interference to stop the arrests in Gauteng, and they place you at the center of that. Are you interfering General with investigations and arrests in Gauteng?
I wish he can tell me where have I interfered. Whether it spoke about Katiso Molefe, what was my role, where did I interfere? Whether it talks about Ket Matlala, where did I interfere? Whether it talks about Mr. Swart, what did I do, where did I interfere? Because I've never been involved in all of those things. Other than when we talk, let's say for an example, the kidnapping story. I've always been the one talking about the kidnapping of Mr. Jerubo Shoha. I spoke about it even in the police summit. I spoke about it even with the, when we were with the DPCI experts, the people that know how to investigate the electronics. I spoke even, I called all the teams together, even as we speak. I know General Mkwanazi did make mention of the fact that the mother of Jerubo Shoha contacted him, but I can also say that I was contacted by the brother-in-law of Jerubo Shoha, who came, who's the brother to the wife of Jerubo Shoha, who came to me, and he works for the presidency. He came to my office and said, please, General, assist. I called all the experts. Even today, the family is happy with this investigation in terms of the progress. I do have a progress report in terms of this thing, because the team that is there, that is investigating, they are doing everything in their power, and they're working with the family. They are taking the family into confidence. Every piece of feedback is given to the family. So I just want to indicate to South Africans that even this thing of Jerubo Shoha, I try my best to contribute, leading towards my retirement, to work hard. I cannot spend 37 years in the police to only to come and mess up my career towards 2 years later at the door out, and then I mess everything up. I can't do that, but thanks a lot, Chair.
I have two more questions, Chair. General, you said that the PKTT is doing a good job, but they can do better. Please explain what you mean by a good job that they are doing and what you mean by they can do better.
When I'm sitting with the 121 doggers that I'm sitting with now, that shows that doggers that had been sitting gathering dust for almost since 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2023, 80% of those doggers. It tells me that no work was done. They can do better. That's number one. Number two, if they were saying to me that these political killings that are taking place in the country, in the whole country, they are hard at work and they are arresting all these people throughout the country, but that is not the case. That is why it's called a KZN team. Otherwise, it's not supposed to be a KZN team. If there's a political killing task team, let it be a national task team. And it shouldn't be managed from KZN. If it is to manage for the whole country, rather appoint and put it in the system, whether you're making the unit or what, but let it be a proper unit that is in the structure and that is taking care of the political killings throughout the country, so that the whole country benefit, not fighting that there's a PKTT in KZN. Every now and then we apply for budget, millions to go down there that are being managed down there by General Mkwanazi and General Kumalo. That is an unacceptable situation.
Is the top structure of the South African Police Service divided?
In my case, I will say, because of the fact that I know the feeling about me, I can't sit here and defend the management and say they are not divided. Here am I find myself outside. Here am I find myself resources of the state being used against me. And here am I find myself overwhelmed by many processes at the same time That takes money away from me and the security of my family also compromised.
General, as I close, those divisions, it's not just costing you, it's costing 65 million South Africans. It is putting us at risk, and we all depend on you to keep us safe. We have questions about where is Jocelyn, Nathaniel, Julius, and many other cases. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I hope that, as you said, you are divided. I put it to you. The core reason why crime is at the level that it is, apart from what we are investigating now, but at the core, it's because you guys at the head is divided. If you're going to fix anything, fix that for the sake of South Africans. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sols. Thank you, General Sibia.
So the dockets, it not.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. I've got two concerns about the two statements that the witness actually has made. For the whole of yesterday and the greater part of today, he has actually been vehemently denying that the files were actually in his office. That was in response to General Mkwana's actually assertion that General Spear actually, the files are in General Spear's office, the dockets. Now, lately, when the Honorable Chief Whip was actually asking him and clarifying the concept of the office, then he accepted that the files were in his office. Now,
Thanks, Chair. There was a comment that was made here, which I'm not going to put it on record. No, thanks, Chair. Thanks and good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening,
General. I think the first question I want to ask, General, is how long does one serve before they can be promoted to the level of a Lieutenant General? How long does one serve from a Major General to a Lieutenant General? I'm asking that question because you raise a concern about the intervention that was made by President Zuma in 2011, when overnight, as you are saying, he promoted Lieutenant General Mkwanazi from being a Major General to a Lieutenant General. So ordinarily, how long does it take for one to rise from one rank to another rank?
2 years.
2 minutes?
2 years.
Oh, okay. It takes 2 years.
That's correct.
So the intervention that was done by President Zuma was illegal?
Happened before.
Okay. Now, so he gets promoted from lieutenant. Okay, when he assumed the responsibilities of being the acting commissioner, he was just a lieutenant general, or he became a general as well?
He was, in 2011, he became a major general.
Yes.
In between 2 or 4 months, 2 to 4 months, he was then promoted to become
lieutenant general.
No, acting national commissioner.
Okay.
As a major general. Then it happened that other generals raised concern. I said, but this is a major general. He's our subordinate here, and he's been made to become the acting national commissioner. And he can't be the acting national commissioner as a major general. Then they had to fix it overnight for him to become the lieutenant general. That's what happened.
Okay, I thought when you are a commissioner, you become a general. Is that not the case?
A commissioner is a civilian post, a major general or a general is a military rank structure.
Okay. Now, coming back to the response you provided to Honorable Bredenbach, I know she's gone now. You said that Mkwanazi was well funded, or Mkwanazi is well funded to profile him. So who is funding him? And for what purpose is he being profiled?
Well, all I know is that, let's say, for instance, Chris accepted to thank him and buy him a cow or cows, the one that he said is going to donate to those children whose parents, police, and he said he's going to give the money to that, to donate the money there. But let us look at this. You go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. It's General Mkhwana. It's only one person. You will never find any other provincial commissioner doing that throughout the country because they are not supposed to do it. It's only him who can do it. Now, there's a very strong media drive that is driven by a particular media house that I don't intend to mention. A particular individual, not necessarily the media house, but there's an individual who's actually behind him. Now, I'm sitting with a situation where if you check on whether it's X, whether it's AI generated TikTok, I'm the most corrupt Satan you can ever find. Different every day. They will take Senzo Mewa, they'll take a lot of people, they'll take at Matlala, they'll take Premakuti, they'll take Louis Liebenberg, they'll talk many people. Every day I'm facing, we're no longer even able to watch TV. You're no longer able to watch. I like gospel songs. When you just try to see what you can get, you come across your name, your face. It's painful. And just to make sure that my name is so messed up, so much so that I'm worthless. No, I cannot be considered for anything anyway. Yeah. It's not fair.
Now, Chair, just hold on, General. Chair, I'm going to have to raise this matter with you. I made an observation throughout the answering questions that the General has a habit of steering off away from a question. And when he does that, more time is wasted and we end up not finishing our questions. The question here, you told us that Mkhwanazi is well funded. My question was, who is funding him for what purpose? Now, you are going off and telling me about how your own reputation is being damaged in the public domain. I mean, quite frankly and honestly, that has nothing to do with my question. We can deal with that issue if you want us to deal with it, but at the moment I'm asking the question. You are saying to us, Mkhwanazi is well funded. Now, Mkhwanazi has said many things here in the Republic and in this committee. If he's well funded and you know, and it may very well be that it's because of his funding that he's saying the things that he has done, we're entitled to know that. Because if you can't explain what you mean by him being well funded, then we'd rather have to agree that that statement really does not hold in terms of facts.
I will for now, Chair, agree that because I'm not in a position to put the facts on the table that says it's funded by so and so. All I know is what I heard him saying that he's been given an amount of money or a donation in relation to what they were giving him to supply the children of the. He said he's going to donate the money to the children that have lost their parents. But I cannot hear where I'm sitting say it's funded by so and so.
Okay. Just on a matter that has arisen here, but maybe just to raise it in a different context. Am I correct to say that in your submission in this committee, you said that you have never met directly with Paul O'Sullivan?
I've never said that, Chad.
You never said that?
I've never said that.
Okay, very well.
Yes.
So knowing him very well means also you have met with him at some point?
I've met with him many times.
No, I wanted to be sure because I was not, I might have missed that. Now, the November meeting that we are talking about, where the minister raised certain concerns about, I think, various task teams, but particularly about the PKTT. You make references to that meeting of November. Now, let me tell you what is of my particular interest about it. Why did you choose to exclude that important information from your sworn-in statement? Because in that November meeting, in terms of your argument here, that it's not fair for the National Commissioner to say he did not anticipate the disbandment of the PKTT because that was mentioned in the November meeting. Why did you choose consciously to exclude that in the sworn-in statements you have provided to us?
I need to see because I'm a little bit lost.
Okay, let me remind you.
Yeah.
You made reference to the fact that there was a meeting around 26 or 27 November, whose minutes you do not have because you were denied access. And at that meeting, a discussion took place about various task teams, but I want to draw your attention to the issue of, is said to have raised some observations about the PKTT. The serious contention on the part of the National Commissioner, your boss, is that I was never aware that there was any major discomfort which can result in such a drastic decision being taken and communicated on the 31st of December. Now you are saying, no, but in that November meeting, he even said to the National Commissioner, well, these are task teams, and task teams by their very own nature are not expected to last forever. So that's the November meeting I'm talking about. Now I'm saying to you, it would seem to me that is a very crucial meeting.
Yes.
But why did you choose to exclude it from your sworn-in statement?
We didn't choose to exclude it because this is a statement that was contained in the minutes of the meeting that was discussed. And we requested with the legal team to have access. Even I think we requested through the evidence leader, if I'm sure that we be assisted with the minutes from the South African Police Service, and we were not favored with such minutes.
General, let me explain what do I mean by exclusion. You are saying something that left me with a question about who constitutes the office of the National Commissioner? Who constitutes that office? I don't think if are you able to get to 85? 85, let me read it for you. It says, is this one on your sworn statement?
I'm trying to get the...
You're trying to get the, okay. And I was asking that you read that paragraph 85 with 3.5.1A of the big bundle, which will be page 62 for honorable members here.
Paragraph 80, I'm on page 27, Chair, and the paragraph.
Yes, we read that paragraph. If you understand that paragraph together with the one that is on 3.5.1A, dockets allocated to various investigations.
Paragraph custody and or control of docket in general.
Yes, and then paragraph 85 there, and then you read it together with paragraph 3.5.1 of the big, what I call the big bundle, which is the additional bundle. The page is 62 for you colleagues of this one, page 62. So my question there, what constitutes the office of the National Commissioner, or who constitutes it, and who constitutes your office? At what point does your office and that of the National Commissioner get separated as his deputy?
We are in the National Commissioner's office as the deputy.
You are in his office?
Yeah. We are his deputies. We fall under corporate. That is the office of the National Commissioner.
So you're part of his office?
Yes.
Okay. I'm happy with that answer. I'll tell you why that answer is important when I come back to it. Now, if you look at paragraph 94 of the same document, your sworn statement. Paragraph 94 of your sworn statement. That paragraph there, the two divisional commissioners who reported to me, crime intelligence and detective and forensic, the dockets has to go where they needed to, where they are needed or they needed to be investigated. You see that paragraph?
Yes.
Now my question is, you are then making a point there that I think you are referring to Lieutenant General Sentumel. You are saying she is the one who, on my directive, was supposed to continue with the investigation of the dockets. And I suppose you're referring to the PKTT dockets.
Yes.
How were you expecting he or her to investigate all of those dockets alone?
No, it doesn't mean that she's supposed to investigate the dockets alone. She's a divisional commissioner. Now, all these dockets will fall under her. In other words, as a divisional commissioner, she's got different component heads. The relevant component is the one that deals with serious and violent crime, which is General Motsepe. So General Sentumule, from divisional crime intelligence to divisional commissioner detective service.
Okay.
He's the one who must accept them. And from there, send them over to General Motsepe to take forward.
So she's under your command?
Yes.
All right. And then in paragraph 102, you are responding to General Mkwanas there. You are saying this is not true. The documents were not in my office. That's about the dockets. I'm sure you remember that. The documents were not in my office.
Yes.
Now, let me just check. Who kept the document? And to whom does that person directly report to at SAPS?
I'm told that the dockets were in Brigadier Kopodi Tata's office, who report to General Motsepe. General Motsepe will report to General Sentumule.
and General Senchuman reporting
Report
to
to
who?
me,
So basically the docket were in your office.
not in my office.
No, okay, when I say the office, I understand the office not to be a building. I'm the chief whip of the NC, I've got the deputy chief whip. When I talk about my office, it's the office where it's me, the deputy chief whip, and everybody who's in that caucus office.
In that sense, I will accept, Chair.
So the documents were, so the dockets were kept in your office. It not physically where you work, but in your office. So they were under your office.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. And then in paragraph 103, General Mutsepe refused to carry the directive of the National Commissioner. You said, where does that general report to?
The General Sintumule,
Now, where does, is she?
it's a she.
In your own view, given what you have told us about how police work on command and control, directive, authority, and seniority, where do you think General Mutsepe got the courage to refuse the directive of the National Commissioner when he said to her, allow them to take photos of the docket?
Well, I think at this present moment, maybe she is something that she can come and explain herself, but safe to say that we all believe that these dockets, because General Mkhwanazi already spoke to the nation and said the dockets are sitting here gathering dust when in fact they were not worked on. And that now they want to come. We were suspecting that in fact they want to come and add some of the things. They already told the nation that some of the dockets were already at an arresting stage when they were not. So it was a question of, okay, what needs to happen here now? Can we get it in writing that says we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4? So that, and this is how the discussions went with General Mutsepe, that no, let it be in writing so that at least we are all covered, we are all protected.
Okay, so that comes to the earlier point you made when you were responding to one of my colleagues that you only carry out even from your boss, you can only carry out a written instruction.
Lawful instruction.
What is unlawful about the commissioner saying to somebody very junior, far below down, please allow them to come and take photos?
There was nothing unlawful, but the problem is it had the risk of when General Mkhwanazi went out there and said, we took the dockets are in my office gathering dust, and that some of the dockets were at the stage of arresting, when in fact he made a press briefing on information that he did not have. Now later he wants to come and either, I don't know, to inspect or to do that after effect. So as far as I'm concerned, this is what she says she did.
Okay.
No,
you know why I'm asking?
No, Chief Whip.
Okay.
The question has not been answered. Did you hear the question, General?
I did.
You said that the instruction of your senior General Masemola was not unlawful. And the Chief Whip wants to know, and this emanates from the earlier statement that you made. And then the Chief Whip wants to know if it was not unlawful, why was it not carried out? Because you say you hit two instructions to the extent that they are not unlawful. And then he came back and said, was the instruction unlawful? You said no. And then he followed up to say, given your commitment to execute lawful instructions, here is an instruction that you yourself say was not unlawful. Why was it not carried out?
Because, Chair, firstly, this was a situation where General Mkhwanazi is calling and saying, I'm sending 10 people there to come and inspect those dockets. And we're saying, but now you want to take the dockets that you rejected, and that after you tell the nation that we took the dockets and the dockets are gathering dust in my office and in General CBS office, and some of the dockets were nearing an arrest stage with warrant of arrest already inside, and say, but now they're going to tamper with the dockets again. So let them not have access to those dockets, at least at that point in time. Then that's when the National Commissioner called General Mutsepe, and General Mutsepe said, no, General, they already made a press conference, and the commission has now been established. Let this thing be dealt with in terms of the commission then. That is what happened, Honorable Chair.
You will understand a bit later why I'm raising this question. Because in my view, it's a bit strange that a junior person like General Mutsepe will respond to the National Commissioner in a way that you are saying she did. Now, we are talking about her through you because you are telling us. And in your answer, you are, okay, maybe let me ask the question before I can explain why I think you are insinuating something, and I will explain when I come to the next question. Was it completely impossible in your own view? Was it completely impossible to mitigate the possibility of tampering if they come and take the photos on the side of General Motsepe and her team?
I was already on suspension myself on stay at home, so I had no access to that. And as far as I'm concerned, in all fairness, General Mkhwanazi made a press briefing.
General, with due respect, you have been a policeman for 37 years. I don't want to know whether you were there or not there. I'm asking. You gave us this information about General Motsepe. We're not going to ask about it. You gave us. All I'm asking, given your own experience and knowledge as our dictative in chief in this country, was it absolutely impossible for somebody in the position of General Motsepe to mitigate the possibility of tampering if these people, the 10 people who were coming in to take the photos?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Yeah, I'm not sure what was the circumstances and the situation in terms of the people coming, 10 people to come in.
Okay. What would you say to somebody who says, no, 10 people are coming to take photos. If we have to guard against them manipulating this document, we'll put 10 others there to watch them. And somebody said, you know why that did not happen? It's because the defiance of General Motsepe was occasioned by the fact that she belongs to this other faction, which is suspicious of the National Commissioner because it's aligned to General Motsepe. What would you say to somebody who say that?
I don't think General Motsepe belongs to any faction. She was with the docket.
But the first among equals in the police tell her what to do. She doesn't do it. And she reports in the line that belongs to your division. I'm saying, then somebody sits somewhere in South Africa and say, where does this general get such a courage? Okay, let me conclude that. Because it's quite clear that in the evidence we're listening, there is a group, you are even giving them a provincial identification, KZN. It's a KZN group. Mkhwanazi and their group. And then Masemula joins that group at some point because, I suppose, not because from KZN, but for factional reasons. If we were to accept that logic, if a South African citizen who's listening accept that logic, and therefore says, but here is a very junior general who refused to carry an instruction of the first among equal in the command and control of the South African Police Service, is that person not acting because she belongs to another group, which is not only suspicious of the group of the NC, but equally protecting its own domain because it is under General SB? So you think the South African who think like that will be unfortunate or unwell or something like that? What's your brief comment on that?
My brief comment is that, quite honestly speaking, Chair, I don't believe that the General Motsepe believes to a faction. But I'm very much concerned that something very wrong happened where there's a press conference and a statement is made, and the dockets apparently are in my office gathering dust. When those dockets were in fact taken to KZN and he rejected it. Now, in all fact, I'm looking at a situation where General Mkhwanazi is doing everything wrong, and it seems like all the facts are favoring General Mkhwanazi because everybody who's trying to say, but let us preserve the evidence of this one, is also wrong in doing that.
Chief Whip, before you proceed, let me take Honorable Shongwa.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just want to keep this on record. When Honorable Skosana says the general is not answering consistency on his answers, I asked this question, if you remember, and these two replies was, I won't speak for General Motsepe. She will come. She's going to have to come for herself and reply on this issue. And now, when he's answering with Chief Whip, he's all over the place. So I think General Awilunga is, thank you.
Yeah. But you know what you must do. What you did previously, you must say in Dava.
Ndaba Komete.
Thank you. Skosana, Honorable Skosana.
Chair, I think let me leave the Chief Whip to finish the floor. Thank you.
Okay, Chief Whip.
All right. You are the most senior custodian of all dockets. The most senior custodian of all dockets. You stayed with the dockets in your office under people who report to you for 4 months. No work was done on them. Now we know that no work was done on them because that was presented here and we've never rebutted it. But Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi argues that actually 5 of the dockets were ready for arrest. And then he contends that soon after the documents were released back to KZN, some arrests took place. Do you know if the arrests that are said to have taken place immediately when dockets went back to KZN were arrests related to the same dockets?
I was not in the police yet at that time, but as far as I'm concerned, what I was told is not the same docket.
No, General. You had the dockets for 4 months. Okay, maybe it's me who's wrong. I'm laboring under the assumption that now dockets are back in KZN. Am I wrong or right?
Correct.
They are back in KZN.
Correct.
Are you aware or not aware of the information that immediately upon the arrival of dockets in KZN, some arrests were effected? And my question is, if there were arrests effected, immediately when they got back, 2 months or a month ago, you were there in South Africa. If that happened, are you aware if those arrests were arrests that are emanating from the same dockets that were within the head office?
I wouldn't know in the set of KZN, but what I know in the list that we have, we don't have dockets that were like really ready to arrest now. You will have 1 or 2 where maybe 3 where they were to go and arrest the suspects. But if the J50 warrant of arrest was not signed, which means at this point in time, they could not arrest unless the J50 is signed. So I'm not aware because I was not in the system at that time.
Okay. Do you know if there is an existence of a syndicate that is operating in Gauteng?
There are many syndicates that are operating in Gauteng.
Okay. Syndicates and cartel, are they the same or not the same?
They are not the same in a sense that the cartel is a group of people that are operating and also that mostly also even control and determine what happens in government and other areas. And then syndicate is just a syndicate that is operating in crime.
Okay. Yesterday you gave evidence that the Big Five is a non-existent entity. Is it your own submission to us and the people of South Africa that the head of crime intelligence, Lieutenant General Khumalo, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, and the National Commissioner are essentially misleading the country when in their various submissions, they make reference to the existence of the Group 5?
Chair,
a Big Five, a group of Big Five, yeah.
Chair, I have a document of the syndicate that was compiled by both organized crime and criminal crime intelligence. And the document that I have that was presented by crime intelligence does not have the Big Five.
Are you aware that some of them, maybe not all of them, but also made another presentation before the minister? They are said to have made a presentation to the Minister of Police. And part of that presentation apparently implicated you. Are you aware of that?
If there is, in the one that I have that was made by them in my presence, it didn't implicate me. And if there is such that implicates me, I'm quite sure and I'm quite confident that I'm not involved in drugs, and I give them a go ahead to really arrest me if I am involved in drugs.
So sorry to interrupt you, Chief Whip. The General just said he's aware of that report. Where does he get that information from? Would he have been briefed by the Minister, briefed by the generals, or just heard it in these proceedings?
The National Commissioner, in one of the presentations or statement or where he spoke about the fact that he was talking here in this house that there was a meeting where he went and he briefed the Minister and he told the Minister about that.
No problems, okay. Now I want to go to, but you don't have to go there. I will explain what is in the context of my question there. Paragraph 81 and 83 of your sworn-in statement, where you talk about Matlala. You say there, and I quote, "I know Matlala as a service provider at SAPS." That's in paragraph 81. Then in paragraph 83, you say that, and I quote, "I didn't know Matlala before the meeting at my office." Now, you have been telling this committee, General, that Matlala is a well-known person within the South African Police Service. If I read this too, I know Matlala is a service provider. And then the next paragraph, I didn't know Matlala before the meeting at my office. And in your submission here, Matlala is a well-known person within the South African Police. Does the well-known, the knowledge of Matlala, the knowledge about Matlala within SAPS, before his meeting with you on the day when he was coming to complain about the tender, does that knowledge of all others exclude you, and why? Why are you the only one who's excluded in that knowledge?
I didn't know Matala. I didn't know Matala from the onset or from the beginning. I didn't know him up until the day I met him in the office. And thereafter, I met him in the college, and I've met him several times. Like I'm saying, I indicated. Now, he is the kind of a person who is well known because he's a person who's been operating in Gauteng. When I look at the whole history of Matlala and the other colleagues that know him, you will see that he's a well-known person.
Okay, let me just explain why I'm asking this question. You are saying in paragraph 81, I know Matlala. You are saying in paragraph 83, I didn't know Matlala until I met him in my office. But you seem to know that you actually know, not seem to know. You have told us, you know, when for sure, that actually Matlala is well known within SAPS. Now tell me, General, has Matlala become well known in SAPS in terms of your knowledge after he has met you, or he was well known even before he has met you? If he was well known even before he has met you, how did it exclude you among those who know Matlala?
Remember, Chair, that I was out of the police. And as a result, I was working for the city of Joburg. After I came back into the police, I was a component head of organized crime. I didn't know him still. But at the time I was acting as a national commissioner, after I think the 1st of July 2023, now when I was now the acting national commissioner, at that point, that's when I got to know Matlala. Now, thereafter going forward, you know that, oh, he knows that one, he knows this one, he knows this one, he knows that one. So I realized that he's known.
So you got to know about his knowledge of almost everybody in the institution after he has met you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, General, so you meet Matlala, he explained his problem, he's accompanied by the lawyer, a problem of his contract, but the problem is not resolved. And you report it, you escalate it to the National Commissioner. Why do you think Matlala decided not to proceed directly now to the National Commissioner? Because in your and his evidence, the National Commission, there is no information that tells us that beyond being, after seeing you and being unhappy, proceeded to the main occupant of the office. And why, what is this coincidence of him only coming to complain about his own tender when you are acting?
It's a question that one can ask, but unfortunately, if he came to me when I was acting with the hope that I can sign and approve and give him permission, but because I didn't sign and give him permission, now I cannot explain why he came to me. Mine was just to pass the message to the National Commissioner. And I could also easily say to him, no, I'm not involved, go see the National Commissioner. But he came, when they came, they presented the problem. I said, all I can do is to transfer the message carry the message to the National Commissioner, which I did.
Are you not worried with this seeming coincidence? Matlala is a problem, but the problem is only reported to the highest office when you are acting. There's no trace of Matlala with the problem still unresolved, coming back to the main incumbent and say, I met your acting colleague, my problem was not resolved, I'm back to you. Are you not worried about what that coincidence might suggest to the people of South Africa?
I don't know what other steps he followed thereafter or therefrom. I didn't know. I don't know whether he wrote to Public Works, or whether he wrote to supply chain, or whether he wrote, or what the lawyers did. I'm not aware of that.
Okay. The other coincidence that I would like to check whether does it worry you or it doesn't worry you has to do with the message that is alleged to have been sent by Mr. Brown Mohotsi to Mr. Matlala, in which he is telling him about, it's on paragraph 37, he's telling him, it will be 37, I think, of this bundle for us. But he's telling him, I will paraphrase it, he is telling him about the decision taken to disband and that documents are on their way to SBIA. Are you not worried that there is too much coincidence with the behavior of these people with your name involved? Are you not worried about that?
I am worried about that my name was used. But when you look at that time, it is at the time, I think, where the documents were far from actually being handed over, if I remember very well. And personally, the document where I didn't even know when the documents were actually been exchanged because I was not part of the exchange of the document. It was between General Sintumula and General Kumalo on the 28th of March.
But then if you are worried, and I would be worried if I was in your position as well, quite honestly. After that message, you have seen Brown Mohots more than once. You have never indicated to us, nor in your written submission, that you inform Brown Mohots that you are very concerned about his conduct and the usage of your name in a way that places your reputation at a risk. Okay, let me say when you met him in January, you may have not been aware of this. But you have met Brown Mohots, you told us yesterday that you said you met him in January and then again a month ago, meaning a month ago from today, he just came to greet and left. You said you were meeting with the evidence leaders, senior evidence leaders, if I'm not mistaken, but he came to greet and then and left.
It was not a month ago, I think 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But it's not like I never asked him as to why did this happen. And it's someone who actually, in a way, denied it or brushed it off. But as far as I'm concerned, it was before even these emails were spoken about. I didn't even know about the email at that time. But what I did discuss with him is that there was a point where we heard that after General Mkhwanazi spoke about it, that there are these emails. And to me, it was a cause for concern. Damage was already done at that point in time.
So you raised this concern with him?
I did.
What did you say?
No, he just brushed it off in a sense that, like, no, General, this is not true. And then I'm told that this thing was tampered with. I don't know, but I will follow up.
Okay. Now, when the National Commissioner received or was made aware of the letter from the Minister of Police to disband the PKTT, when he was made aware of that, he said in his documents, he got to be aware of this on the 2nd of January, and he was away. And he says, but he did not pay much attention to it because he was on leave. He thought he can deal with it when he comes back. You have said to us, this was a very serious issue for him to simply say, I saw it on social media and I will attend to it when I come back. This was a very serious issue for him to do that. But when he was away, there was an acting national commissioner. Why did you not, given the seriousness of the issue that you wanted the NC to attach to it, why did you not say anything to the acting national commissioner when a matter like this has arisen and their correspondent is coming from the office of the acting national commissioner, because she's the one, he or Mosigit is a he. It's a she. She's the one who was in charge. Why nowhere you were saying, I once spoke to the acting national commissioner? Nowhere.
Chair, if correspondence come from the office of the national commissioner, where General Mosigit is acting, it's a document that gives me an instruction to proceed from the office of the national commissioner. I take it that it comes from the national commissioner or General Mosigit, but it is the same thing.
Can I ask that you allow me to ask just 3 questions? I'm told 3 is the reasonable one. My plea.
Yeah. Every time the stands upright, it means your time is up, but because you have a benevolent chairperson.
Yeah, no, I will be quick. Just 3 questions.
We allow you to ask between 2 and 3 questions.
Okay, I promise you it won't be more than 3. The first one, just very briefly, on the bundles that we have, there's a document that is referred to as SP6, as the other one is SP7.1. Let me tell you what are those documents. SP6 is a document that you said was prepared by the National Commissioner's Office for you to sign, and it does show where you need to sign, but it also shows where he needs to sign. SP7.1 is where you are now getting that document for the second time, and you told us it did not change, but it now only has a space for you to sign and not the National Commission. How would you respond to someone who says, the reason you did not care that you no longer have to be backed up by your principal is because you were on the rush to execute the instruction to your juniors to proceed with the implementation of the disbandment?
But Chair, if we are fair enough, the minister writes to the National Commission and he gives a directive that this is what must happen. And the National Commission does not agree with the minister. That document should not be cascaded further downwards. It should be between the National Commissioner and the minister. It should end there. The National Commissioner must be able to respond. But if the National Commissioner writes in his own affidavit that says, I complied because had I not complied, I was going to be charged for insubordination. So which means the National Commissioner himself complied. Now, the fact that those documents came to me, it means it was now getting for implementation. Otherwise, it was not going to be like that. If the National Commissioner was of the view that he doesn't agree, I was going to return to the minister and say, Minister, I will be responding to you. I acknowledge the receipt of your directive, but I'm preparing an adequate response for you, and which will be sent before this date. And the National Commissioner will be working on a document that is then that gets sent to the minister.
The one before last, Chair, as I said, you made references to a meeting of Mkhwanazi and Masemula to analyze the dockets because they were, at the time when the dockets are supposed to go, might be going to the Commission of Inquiry. You made the point here that Mkhwanazi and Masemula met because they were not very keen for the document to be submitted to the Commission. Who else was in that meeting and how did you know about it? Because from what you were saying, they were meeting to conspire on the documents before they are taken to the Commission of Inquiry. Who else was there and when was that meeting and where was it?
Remember, I was in constant communication with General Motsepe because I wanted to know, General, because it was just the day I think I left or after I was removed and about the dockets. Because personally, I wanted to know, do we have copies of that? I phoned. Do we have copies for these dockets? Can we make copies so that we don't lose track of these dockets? Where are those dockets? Personally, I didn't know where the dockets are because I had never seen any dockets. Can we make copies now? When I was told that, no, they are coming, because General Particular also came and they wanted to take the dockets. That's when I knew that, okay, there was a meeting with the 10 people or the investigator from KZN, but there was also a meeting with General Makashalala and a certain white brigadier that came to inspect the docket together with General Particular, and they take them to the college where the National Commissioner was based.
Very last one, General, and thanks for your answers. You said to us, you were forced, these are your words, I was forced by the National Commissioner to sign for a financial assistance support for the arrested people. I think those are Lieutenant General Kumalo and others. But this support has not been made available for me.
I don't remember saying I was forced. I said he made me sign. He made me sign the legal assistance for the members. But in my case, I applied and to date I haven't been favored with one.
Chair, he answered before the conclusion because I wanted to know then, General, if you were made to sign for others, now you are not there, somebody's acting in your position. Are you aware if that person is either refusing to sign or is being directed not to sign by a National Commission? That's my last question, Chair. Thank you very much.
My boss is the National Commissioner, and the one who's acting, I don't know if she's the one who can sign, but it is the National, we apply to the National Commission.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Scotsana. You wanted to make a follow-up, and thanks very much for your patience.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to be short because really even the leader wants to speak.
It's a follow-up because
Chair, no, we have to put things into perspective because when we live here, we don't want when we are at home, when people are asking us about, because we're here, the General is here with us. When you are clarifying the issue of seniority, I'll start there quickly. The notion that the Deputy National Commissioner is senior to Provincial Commissioner is false. That's number one. It has to be recorded like that. And the follow-up will be, seniority in the police is by date of appointment to a rank. Both a Deputy National Commissioner and the Provincial Commissioner hold the rank of the Lieutenant General. Mkhwanazi was appointed in 2011, rightfully so. I will just clarify because the way you responded, it will cause problems, Chair. And yourself, you were appointed in 2023.
Are you clarifying him?
Yes, yes, I'm clarifying that notion, Chair. Because when we live here, we should not have this notion that, as you heard the General was saying, he's a senior to General Mkhwanazi. Now, I want to clarify that if he agrees, but that's what the Act says. What I'm saying here is that General Mkhwanazi was appointed in 2011 as a Lieutenant General, and General Sibiya was appointed in 2023. He can therefore not be General Mkhwanazi Senior. Deputy National Commissioner and Provincial Commissioner post is a title, it's not a rank. Now, when he said, I want you to listen to me here on this one. The promotion, which the Chief Whip, when he was asking him, that it was a little bit weird that General Mkhwanazi was, the way he responded, that when he was appointed as an acting by then President Zuma, that's what the chief whip said, his promotion to the true facts of the matter is that his promotion to a lieutenant general was proceeded in terms of Regulation 45 of SAP employment regulation, which makes provision for the appointment of a higher level based on comprehensive motivation by the appointment authority. There's nothing seen with his appointment. It was within the prescript. Chair, I'm closing it now. I'm saying to you, we are talking here about, there's nothing illegal about that.
Chair, I'm calling
We
up.
Honorable Sangon.
Thank you, Chair. We really resisted to call this point of order because Honorable Skosana will think that Simakile, which is not the truth. Chair, there's a witness there. I think that the witness must be asked questions. It's not for us to debate questions. You see, this is why now the witness starts accusing Honorable Skosana of speaking to other people. But secondly, there was a witness statement here from General Masemula on the issue of seniority between the DNC and the provincial commissioners. Now, I'm not sure that when Honorable Skosana is raising what he's raising, he seems to want to suggest that the national commissioner came here and lied to us. Thank you very much, Chair.
Yeah, but that's why when I recognized Honorable Skosana was for him to make follow-up questions if he has, so that we can move to the next speaker.
Yeah, Chair, in fact, I don't know what, because I was trying to say, when the chief whip was speaking, I'm not talking about Honorable Sangon. When the chief whip was speaking, the general responded.
What is the question that you want to ask General Sibia?
Yeah, no, I'm not asking him. I'm just clarifying that there's nothing wrong.
Yeah,
in terms of the issue which he raised, he said to us that he feels that Mkwanazi, in fact, not only feels that Mkwanazi, he said Mkwanazi is a junior to him.
Yeah, I'm going to rule you out because you cannot change the testimony that he gave here.
So we must take it as it is.
Those are his answers.
Yeah, but what I'm asking, I want you, Chair, to say we must take it as it is, as facts.
General Sibia, do you want to change the answers that you have given to the chief whip?
I can read it again from the official document that says.
No, I just want to, do you stand by the answers that you gave to the chief whip?
The Deputy National Commissioner is senior to provincial commissioners. They report to the National Commissioner. That is why even when the National Commissioner goes, the Deputy National Commissioner acts, not the provincial commissioner.
Yeah. General Sibia, the answers that you gave to the chief whip, you stand by them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. So
as an honorable member, I'm not buying that because it's not true.
Yes.
I'm talking about I'm talking about the regulation, the Employment Act. I'm not talking something.
No, it's fine.
Thank you, Chair.
It's fine. Honorable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is on a point of clarity. General, you said that Lieutenant General Mkwanazi is well funded. Are you saying that based on the crowdfunding that has been done on social media? Just clarity. Or is there something outside of that? Or is it just the social media crowdfunding?
Well, Chair, I think I indicated earlier that since I'm not able to put the name of a person who's funding him on the table, it's a statement that I cannot sustain.
Yeah.
This is what I said. However, I did mention the fact that I remember when he said South Africans have put money together, among others, it was Chris Axel who was saying they are buying cattle for him or something like that, or they've donated money that he said he doesn't want, he's going to donate it to offense or whose parents have done in the line of duty. That is what I said.
Okay. Honorable Mwango.
Well, thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I've got two concerns about the two statements that the witness actually has made. For the whole of yesterday and the greater part of today, he has actually been vehemently denying that the files were actually in his office. That was in response to General Mkwanazi's actually assertion that General Spear actually, the files are in General Spear's office, the dockets. Now, lately, when the Honorable Chief Whip was actually asking him and clarifying the concept of the office, then he accepted that the files were in his office. Now we have two statements in our records.
The last statement that he made is that the files were in an office that is under his line of authority. Is that correct, General Sibia?
That is correct, Chair.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the second one is in relation to seniority. The witness actually has just said that if the national commissioner is away, the deputy national commissioner will always act. In 2011, General Mkhonazi was appointed as acting national commissioner at the rank of Major General. So much so that, according to the statement given by the witness, some generals refused to salute him because they felt that he was junior to them. As a result of that, General Mkhonazi had to be promoted to Lieutenant General so that he could actually then, enjoy the respect of the other general. So the contention here is that it is not always that deputy national commissioners, if the commissioner is not there, will actually act, automatically act.
I agree with the observation that you are making, but remember, you are debating the testimony of the witness, and I don't know.
I just wanted to be clear, Chair, what is actually.
Do you want him to change his testimony?
No, it's up to him. But if he wants to clarify it to us, because I'm going with that confusion.
Chair, in terms of Regulation 8, a divisional commissioner reports directly to a particular deputy national commissioner, and in the order of precedence ranks directly below the deputy national commissioner and directly above a provincial commissioner.
Yeah, I think what we should do, let's just save that part. Just make reference to it to say the regulations. If it's a provision number 5 or 6 of the regulation, just make reference to the relevant provision.
Remember?
So, in general, I'm a little confused. I can't. It's too long and too big and too ugly, too everything. I'm a little confused. So, there's all this fuss about this press conference of General Mkhonazi. We have a Malanga Commission, we have this ad hoc committee, and everybody wants to get to the truth. If what he says is true, it's a big problem, but it's not information that hasn't been around for years. Unless you've been living under a rock in this country, you had to know most of this, maybe not in this kind of detail, but everybody knew about all of these things. So do you know why now? Do you know if his press conference, General Mkhonazi's press conference, was whether what he says is true or not, constitutes a genuine desire to expose corruption and criminality within the police, or is this the manifestation of a battle for power in the police? Is this a battle for the top job when Masamala retires?
Personally, quite honestly speaking, Honorable Chair, this has got nothing to do with the 121 dockets and the disbandment of the political killing task team. This, according to me, it's about the succession battle within the police. And why I'm saying this is about the succession battle within the police, I know that in this case, in my case, this whole thing is actually meant to block me from, they know, I had an interview where I was interviewed by one of the radio stations or TV stations and saying, General Sibia, now that the General Lebeya will be going, are you interested? Are you available? And I said, well, given that opportunity, I will go. And then from there, the media were running saying that General Sibia has thrown his head in the gauntlet as well, he's ready. And as a result of that, you will see newspaper article that says Sibia versus Musigidi versus Mkhonazi. And then the next thing, what happened is that General Khumalo got arrested. That angered General Mkhonazi to an extent that he sent a message to one of his friends, colleague, that says, can I proceed there?
No.
He sent a message of a song of Tupac that says, I'll kill them at night when they're sleeping. Now, he was so furious. And then even General Masemola, to an extent that I began to hear that they feel that I have something to do with that arrest. I ended up calling the National Commission and saying, NASCOM, I don't know about this arrest. Nobody knew. I didn't even expect it because this thing is something that happened within CI. The National Commissioner then said to me, no, you wouldn't have known about this arrest because it's something that happened within CI. Then later, I also got questions from the media guys that says, hey, we understand you are going to be arrested. You will get members who says, don't go to work on Monday. They say you are going to be arrested. Then I go to the National Commissioner, ask him. National Commissioner says, no, don't put me in there. You are not about to be arrested. Then we start working together. We run until the 4th of July, on the eve of the 6th. I get a call from General Mkhwanazi talking to me, asking me whether I'm coming to KZN or not. Then I said, no, I'll be coming, General. But the next thing, Sunday, this is a press conference about me. So as far as I'm concerned, and in one of these meetings, I think General Mkhwanazi said it in this house, where he said, the National Commissioner was on the doorstep of being arrested. That's why we had to do something. It's a direct admission that this was just a preemptive strike. So the people of South Africa have just been taken for a ride that, no, this is about the disbandment and the docket. Because this docket, we're not gathering dust in my office. I have demonstrated and I still have it, and this committee has got the benefit of being able to call for the dockets. They were last seen since some of them 2018, 2019, 2020, 2023, 2024. So I'm just saying, for us to be sitting here today talking about the issue of the docket, it's a non-issue. Those dockets were dead a long time ago. They are still dead now. Even if they can be called now tomorrow, you will see that they are still far.
So how much of what General Mkhwanazi told us in his press conference is fact, and how much of it is semi-fact, and how much of it is conjecture?
General Mkhwanazi is playing the country, and he's playing a mind game to the country, and he's actually playing those that are prepared to listen to him, because he knows how to play with words and what to say and the things he needs to say and how to say it in such a way that the country get moved. He will say, we are doing this thing for the country and to protect the people of South Africa. Me, I can defend myself, but the people of South Africa, who's defending them? Now he wants to play that he's defending the people of South Africa. Now he will then come and say, dockets were taken by General Sibiya, they are in his office, in his archives. I don't have dockets in my office, in my archive. I don't have that. And then he makes serious allegations in such a way that if someone was to say, General Mkhwanazi, you are the provincial commissioner. The police in KZN received information to go and conduct a search and seizure at Kalagabusha Hospital, Correctional Services. And they went there and they searched. And as they searched, they found drugs. Then someone call General Mkhwanazi, or a call come into the suspect that is being arrested phone, say, give them the phone. And then the suspect give the phone to General Mkhwanazi. General Mkhwanazi says, you stop right there, you stop what you're doing, that docket must be taken there. That's interference. And that's defeating. If it was done by someone else, that person would have been suspended. Just let's compare the fact that he says, when they went to arrest Katiso Molefe, a team was sent from head office to there. He did the same. But there's no crime there because as far as I'm concerned, what he does, there's no wrong. If he sent his team to go and kidnap a a ballistic expert sees the laptop, take the laptops, the files, and add ballistic expert. That is obstruction of justice, interfering. And then he comes here and he says, no. The members were doing their work and they didn't intimidate and they were even bought lunch. Why are they interfering with the investigative system? Because there's a chain of possession. The integrity needs to be preserved at all material times of the evidence that has been collected. Now, I'm sitting with a situation where if there was anybody, if today I can stand up and go and call that press conference, I also used, at some point in my life, I also wore camouflage uniform. Maybe I should also wear one, go make a conference as well and talk things. But I will be fired from the podium same time. That day, on stage doing that, I'll be gone. But some people, because they've got a very powerful social media that they have invested in, every TikTok that you open, no police official is allowed to do what General Mkonas is doing. No provincial commissioner you will see on TikTok. He's the only one that campaign on and funded on TikTok. And this wins all the South Africans. You touch Mkonas, you touch us. But he's a policeman. So I'm just saying there are a lot of things that are wrong that we are supporting as a country. And we are creating a monster that no one is able to control. That is why he's able to come here in this house and threaten members of this house and say, you don't touch the members of intelligence, and because you will forcing them to respond. And once they respond, they will talk. And once they talk, many of you, I don't know what said, many of you will do what, but that is wrong. We can't allow such a situation as a country to continue. So all I'm saying is that if the purpose for which he wants crime intelligence to continue and the political testing to continue, and then the next thing, nobody can touch them because they use this political killing testing to conduct their investigations. They also controlling intelligence. They've got intelligence on everyone. Whoever wants to come closer to them, then that person gets threatened and say that we will talk. Can't be allowed.
General, the political killings task team, by all accounts, was initially quite successful. In the recent past, less successful. So what is all the fuss about?
I really don't know, Honorable Member, because we are saying we're building a capable state. Building a capable state, we're saying let the whole country be equipped, be well-resourced with technology in such a way that they are capable and able to an extent that they are all able to carry their own respective environments. Now, we cannot really be fighting so hard to keep and maintain a very expensive political killing task team that is meant to actually take care of a very small number or pool of excellence within KZN only. The whole country is not really taken care of, and the whole country is suffering. Once you have one provincial commissioner fighting so hard for the political task team to continue for years, spending millions and millions and millions on a yearly basis, that shouldn't be allowed.
Tell me, General, when you were reinstated into the South African police, did you know anything about Matlala, Mahoti, these people?
Not at all. I found them here, these people in the police, especially Matlala. I found them working with the police very close to the generals and other police officials. I mean, it is unfortunate. He's a well-known person. In my case, I didn't know him. I didn't know him only at the time when his name began to pop up. And by the time his name began to pop up, the moment you start to step back, you can see that already this man is known by all.
But part of your portfolio was to also being in charge of crime intelligence, right?
That's correct, Honourable Member.
Surely they would have been able to fully inform you about these gentlemen. Did you not make inquiries? And if not, why not?
This is one aspect that I think crime intelligence need to know. to gather, collect, collate, analyze, and support. Or at support. They need to support the management, the leadership of the police. If, for an example, Chair, it so happens that you come across an individual who contacts you regularly, and this individual is on site. They know that they are monitoring this person. They must be able to go to the National Commissioner or to the Minister or to whoever and say, hey, Chief, we can see that this person is contacting you or you are in constant communication with this person. But do know that this person we are looking at, we are working on him. Warn me so that I can run. Now, if I don't know and I keep on interacting with this person, not knowing what this person is doing when he gets home at night, then I won't know. And tomorrow you get associated with someone that you wouldn't have under normal circumstances.
So are you saying, General, that nobody warned you and you didn't ask?
Nobody warned me. Even the National Commissioner and the SAPS, they did. I remember when we saw a letter that came from IDEC that says we want to know why and how was this man awarded the tender when he's under investigation by SAPS. But at the time the man was awarded a tender up to the highest level, everybody saw it. It never happened under the mattress. They saw it and it ran with everybody knowing. During the events at the college, he also had, among the many gazebos that were there, they also had their own gazebo there. And where they will do like the blood pressure, your sugar test and this and that. He was one of the service providers, as normal as possible. Nobody knew about the rest.
But that is a reasonable question to ask, General. Why, if he was under investigation by the police, was he allowed to parade around like that? To do business with the police, to contract with the police? How does that happen? How does the left hand not know what the right hand is doing? And what does that say about the police?
Maybe it is the vetting that is lacking or something that needs to really be collected, or all such tenders needs to be vetted and checked properly to say who is this one and how did he get here. But at this present moment, that part of the tenders and the service providers is something that I'm far from. It's supply chain. It's another division completely. I don't even know the role players that side.
So are you suggesting that the police enter into tenders with millions of taxpayers' money and they don't vet, because that appears to be the position?
Had it happened, I don't think it